Fourth down, check down, and where is Ed Donatel going to claim home the rest of the year? Let's go. Let's talk about that next. Gather around, Skull brothers and sisters. Come get a big hug. We do not ever have to watch this defense, at least for another 5 months. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna put the StreamYard in the chat, and we're gonna take live call-ins. And Justin, call out your show. Get that out of the way.
Purple and gold for days. Even on a day like this, it's still purple and gold. Good, bad, or indifferent. Just once before we die. Well, that once ain't happening this year, ladies and gentlemen. And so much blame to go around. So much disappointment to go around. I've been cooking up a pie of disappointments. We're stealing it from Purple Daily. Usually it's pie chart of blame or pie chart of blame. Tonight it is pie chart of disappointment. And you better get your popcorn ready, because you might actually be surprised as to how much pie and how much I'm giving to who. So, yeah, that's all I got.
That's all you got, man?
That's all I got for now, yeah. What else is there?
Why put a better thumbnail than what I just did on our show? Tell me your thoughts on the game, man. Just your overall thoughts on the game.
Well, you know what? It's a microcosm of this season. The Vikings get the ball first, like I talked about, and I said, you know what? Don't do this dipsy doodle, defer to the second half. They got the ball, went right down the field, hot knife through butter, and boom, we're rocking and rolling. You know what? Touchdown Jefferson. Oh, not quite. And I said it right away. I'm like, I don't think he got in, but that's fine. Kirk Cousins sneaks it up the middle. Boom, here you go. All right, defense. Usually you're good for 1 3-and-out or a forced punt within the first drive or two. No, they went right down the field. I mean, Daniel Jones looked like Aaron Rodgers in his prime, right down the field. Okay, so you get the ball back. All right, well, defense didn't get it. Not the first time. 3rd and 1, and you're going to call a dipsy doodle Friday Night Lights, oop-de-oop offense where you're going to jet sweep Justin Jefferson and pass back to Kirk Cousins. On what planet did any person involved with the Minnesota Vikings play calling think that was a good idea? How does somebody not say, you know what, Kevin, I don't think that's a good idea. I think that's a dumb idea. We're not going to pass the ball to Dalvin Cook. We're not going to pass the ball to CJ Ham. We're not going to pass the ball to Alexander. We're going to pass it to Kirk Cousins. Why? On God's green earth would anybody think that's a good idea, and why nobody else jumped in and said, maybe we should put that one away for later? Why Kirk Cousins, who always goes into the huddle with 2 plays so that he can one of them, why Kirk Cousins immediately didn't say, I don't care what coach called. We're not running that play. That's number one. So we punt the ball, defense, touchdown, right again. Next possession. I think it was 1 first down and then an outs. Okay, defense, give up a field goal. Now, we managed to get it back to 17-14 at halftime, but 17-14 at halftime when you took the ball first isn't just being down 3 points. It's being down 3 points and a possession, and as we know, defense gives up a touchdown. Now, all right, offense fought as hard as they could, but guess what? When you have a defense this bad, and we're going to throw lots of shade at this defense, the defensive coordinator needs to be gone. Half of these players need to be gone. But when you know your defense is beyond the weak link of your team, you cannot afford even 2 possessions to be tossed by the wayside like that. Finally, your defense got to stop when it needed to, barely, but it did. And it's a couple of nice plays, got Hawkinson up to midfield. And as soon as that ball was incomplete to Adam Thielen, and as soon as he had to check down to Dalvin Cook and made it 3rd and 8, I said, uh-oh, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. And what happens on 4th down? Number 1, TJ Hawkinson should not have been called to even run a pass short of the sticks.
Agreed.
Do not give Kirk Cousins the option of somebody underneath the sticks. That's number 1. Number 2, guess what? On 4th and 18, In the Buffalo game, TJ Hawkinson was wide open in the middle of the field for 12 yards, and Kirk Cousins did what he was supposed to do. Ignore the wide open guy for 12 yards on 4th and 18 and throw the ball into a triple covered Justin Jefferson and give him a shot. And what did Kirk Cousins do? After having the best season of his career, after finally deciding I'm not going to be checked down Charlie anymore, when all the chips are in the middle of the table, he reverts back to what he always has been. And I'm sorry, call me a hater if you want. That's who he will always be. This season, we said, Kevin O'Connell has unlocked a new version of Kirk Cousins. He's not that guy anymore. He's going to know that, okay, how do you not know that if you throw into triple coverage and the ball gets intercepted, that's a better pass in that situation? Because even if there is a 2% chance of getting the first down, there was a 0% chance TJ Hawkinson was going to get that first down.
All right, let's say something for the offseason quick. I have Sam been waiting in the wings for a little bit here.
All right, Sam, get in.
And hey, Sam, the Packer fan. It so happens every time we do a pregame, you just can't make it, but you come up, show up after the loss. That's awesome. Thanks for showing up, man.
Of course. It was,
did you get a chance to watch the game?
Yeah, I did get out eventually, and I caught most of the first quarter and everything on then. So it was a.
Did we lose you?
Hold on one second. Sorry, I had a call that was coming in. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, sorry, my screen went black. But yeah, it was a good day for me. It was like my Super Bowl. But I think to piggyback off your friend there.
He's my co-host. This is Justin Day. We co-host a show together.
Okay.
And he's jumping on this Skull Live today. We do a show on Tuesdays called Under the Lights.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think the piggyback off of it is your guys' glaring flaw, which is defense. And I mean, I think I saw in the chat you guys couldn't stop a nosebleed, and I mean they did eventually get a big stop, but your offense squandered it. And like you said, Kirk Cousins didn't throw a ball up to a receiver on that 4th and 8 that like you said, if it would have been intercepted, well, it would have been beyond the sticks, and I think it would have been more appropriate. He checks it down to Hawkinson, and he doesn't get anywhere near it. So, yeah, I don't know. I hate to say it, but I mean that's why the fraud narrative was going on the whole year. I mean, come up short in these big games. Well, not in this big game, but I mean, you guys are winning by one score all year long, and it seems like Donatel doesn't want to bring the pressure a lot. And then you got a team like the New York Giants who are very, very well built and I think well coached and kind of a sleeper team, and they come up and they get the big win on you guys. So,
hey, to give a shout out to the guys, I've been falling behind. Sorry, I had some little difficulties starting the show, but shout out to James Bowman. We couldn't stop a nosebleed, man. Warlord of Art, that was so lame.
What's up, Warlord?
pretty rough. Yeah. Despite the loss, they have done us proud. They achieved this season's goal. I can agree with that. We can take some positive out of it. I hate our defense. I imagine we need a new D coach. Agreed. I was changing my thumbnail to establish that I think he should be fired. I agree. And JV just vibes. Probably you were talking to Justin Day. I don't know what that was. Here they choke again. Minnesota is paying for the 1991 World Series. I must be an Atlanta fan. I don't know. Evening day. Thanks for showing up, McAndrews. Hey, I put the StreamYard in the chat, I believe. You should be able to join. And I can hold up, I think, 6 people. So if you want to get on, keep trying. It is so gone. I agree. Minnesota Charlie should be saying hi to each other. Fun fact, the Vikings scored the second fewest points of all playoff teams. Okay. Sorry, I really got to catch up. Vikings are clowns. Hey, guys. What's up, Purple Pocket Podcast? Make sure you go subscribe, like, and comment to his channel.
Hope you're feeling
That's
better,
my co-host. My worthless opinion. Hey, Rap, feeling better? Yeah, he might be on the purple drink right now, and that's probably why he's not as mad as I would think he'd be. All right. Sorry, David Justin. That's a tough loss. Grindizer, the straw that stirs the drink on the YouTubes. Thanks for showing up, man. God, I gotta catch up, man. The Purple Pocket Podcast. Yeah, let's see. You can tell I do this so much. Justin, you're a hater. Okay, there you go. You're a hater, Justin. Sorry. Sorry. Yes, at least take a downfield shot. Totally agree. My thumbnail says 4th down, check down. Not a good decision. I agree with Justin. Nobody should be doing a play down that. A worst case scenario, if there's nobody open, he should have scrambled, giving Hawkinson a chance to get closer to the sticks or beat his guy. It's a mismatch with him on the field. He had time to maybe scramble around, give him a chance to run up a little farther. If nothing else was there, it was a bad decision. I didn't hit share all, so you're gonna have to share that thing too, Day, if you want.
All right.
And Donatel truly had no end game. He had no pregame. He had no middle game. He definitely had no game the entire game. We have our resident Packer fan here he said it was a Super Bowl. I can imagine a little rubbing it in probably after they lost to the Lions. Did you lose the Lions twice this year?
Yeah, we did.
We did? Okay, yeah. That's awesome. The Lions were hanging up a banner saying we didn't make the playoffs, but we beat the Packers twice.
They won their Super Bowl, right?
They won their Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, a little bit all going around.
Tell it, since we have you on, we won't keep you on the whole show. But tell us what you feel like going into this offseason. Aaron Rodgers says he wants to keep his jersey, and when someone wanted to trade with him, I'm going to keep this one. Is there thoughts that maybe this is his last season and there'd be a trade in the mix or there'd be something going on? What are your thoughts there?
He's such a wild horse. You never know where he's going to go, really. I think personally, and I know a lot of my friends don't like him and think he's arrogant, and I think he's arrogant to an extent, but I do think that he really kind of takes his time by himself. He's kind of got that little hippie vibe, wants to sit there, settle in, feel all the emotions first, and then make a decision. And I think he really wants to do that. I think the sit down with Gunta Kunst and all that other stuff is just kind of end of the year stuff, and then he'll go on his merry way. And then he said he's not going to screw him at the what is it, the start of the draft or whatever it is in March, or when they're starting to sign free agents or whatever the heck it is. I think it's in March. I can't remember. I don't know. I don't go that far into all that other stuff, but I really don't know. I could see him coming back if Randall comes back, because they're pretty tight. And if I think Bakhtiari said he wants to come back as well. I think if those guys are in the mix, I think he comes back. And Gutekunst came out and said, our best contention to win a Super Bowl is with Aaron Rodgers, and that's what they believe. And so I know that at least the front office wants him back for another year. Now, if you look at the decline from last year to this year, I mean, it's been pretty significant. I mean, he was battling with some injuries, but he doesn't have that speed. He's got a little bit of elusiveness left, but he's definitely taken it down that way. Some of the balls that he threw this year were incredible, and some of them were like, well, where the hell was that going? You look like your first year in the league. So I don't know. Time will tell eventually. Me personally, of course, I want him back another year, but I always want him back another year. But if he comes back this year, we don't get it done next year, then it's like, all right, I think it's time to move on. But I think that we could potentially, if we get our receivers right and focus on running the ball maybe a little bit more, I think we could have a chance at a Super Bowl. But it's not anywhere near it was 2 or 3 years ago, in my opinion. There's a shot there, but
before I let Justin ask you a few questions, Warlord Art, yeah, I pay for the $20 version, not the $40 version. I'm a cheapskate. Purple Pocket Podcast is gonna be okay. Hallelujah. He's gonna be okay. He got COVID. It was funny today. He sends me his COVID test, and he positive, said, "Hey, congratulations on having your baby." No, he's which I hope he's gonna be okay. Obviously gonna be okay. I'll feel really, really bad. But hey, guys, in the chat, if you want to join, you just hold on. I'll try to get you on. Lions baby. What? Shouldn't came down to the last play if the defense played better. I totally agree. Someone said a little earlier ago, I think KJ should have caught that ball. That guy, I think, hit him early, but I think it was probably a good no call. But he had his arm all the way across the body. The ball hit the guy's arm. So I initial thought that, but after the replay, I didn't. But yeah, I mean the drive before that, what pissed me off big time is we threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage twice in a row. 14-yard. Then we're 2nd and 14 or something like that, and then the 2nd and 14 we throw a tight end screen, back and play, tight end screen behind the line of scrimmage. We get 2 yards. Now it's 3rd and 12. I was so pissed. The worst play calling I've ever seen in that freaking situation.
Yeah.
The next drive, there were some good plays there. He got hit, and there was a complaint that that shouldn't have been a penalty on legal roughness. I think those refs were wanting the Giants to not get or the announcers were wanting the Giants. That was a hit to the head. It gets called every time when it wasn't a glancing blow. You could see his face turn when he got hit, but that allowed us to go on. Then there was a nice throw. We get down there, but yeah, when it comes to the 4th down play, you can't throw it that short. I don't know. Does he not see the defensive back? There's no decision. There's a bad decision on that part. But hey, if it goes over the season, made plenty of good decisions. That did not lose us the game. It just didn't win us one. I can tell you that. But Justin, you got any questions for the Packer fan before we go? Sam, the Packer fan.
I get what you're saying about him giving you the best chance, but isn't it also one of those deals where you're kind of delaying the inevitable? And the reason I ask that is, the Vikings have had this tendency pretty much since the Wilfs have owned this team of just running it back. And sometimes you just have to take a step back because – you're kind of forcing yourself to keep a window open, and in doing so, you're spending a lot of money on older veterans who are getting paid their market value, and you can't make. I'm not saying that I would have rather had the Chicago Bears season than the Minnesota Vikings season, but let's call a spade a spade. Obviously, it's going to take the Bears to make shrewd moves and to sign good players, but they've got high draft picks. They've got over $100 million in salary cap. And all I'm saying is 3 years from now, the Bears are going to be ahead of both the Vikings and the Packers if they do it right. And so ultimately, yeah, you can keep spinning your wheels. And around here, we call it purple purgatory because we're always good. We're never a train wreck. And the Packers rarely are too. Now, the Packers have been closer because they've gotten to 4 NFC championship games post their Super Bowl. So I'm not going to say that the Packers should be doing it too, but to me, at some point, aren't you just kind of putting yourself in that middle of the road mediocre territory? I mean, you honestly think that it's a better chance for them to just keep Rodgers? Or I'm curious to hear your opinion.
Yeah, now that you kind of put it that way, see, I do slightly, but
I'm trying to convince you to get rid of Rodgers.
I do slightly, but I do understand the point of maybe we do need a rebuild time, and it is kind of going back to the same old recipe. And yeah, that's right. We get there. We get to the NFC Championship, and and I'll be a Packer fan that admits it. He does not play good in January. He doesn't. The Packers just in general. The last 10, 12 years, just other than the Super Bowl, have not played good in January football, especially when it counts. I do still think that he's like I said. If this was 2 years ago, I'm solid, no matter what.
No question. I would agree with that. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, I do slightly still think that he's the better chance. But if they did go with Jordan Love and had traded him, I wouldn't sit there and throw my cheese head against the wall. You know what I'm saying? Where if they did that 2 years ago for some reason, I would be pissed. So I understand your point. I do think that he still is their best opportunity. But Father Time never loses, So, I mean, we'll see. Either way, for me as a Packer fan, I won't be disappointed because I am excited to see Jordan Love in the future. And I do like the progression of our run game as well. We've been kind of a pass-oriented team all the way up until, Matt LaFleur came in. And it's kind of slowly going to, hey, we need to give Aaron Jones the ball because we don't have the receivers that we used to have. And when we give Aaron Jones the ball and they don't absolutely stuff us like the Lions did, it sure seems to work out. So, yeah, I would agree that Aaron, I think, still is the best bet. But if they move away from him, I would not be surprised at all, and I wouldn't be mad. And I'm excited for Jordan Love. If that answers your question.
No, I mean for me, I've been in the camp. Realistically, I was in this camp after the 2019 season when they lost to San Francisco before they traded Diggs and drafted Jefferson, which is You've just seen how far this team can go.
Mm-hmm.
And if they had won today, they would have gotten killed by San Francisco next week. So once again, the ceiling on this team, whether you want to talk about the coaching, whether you want to talk about the quarterback, whether you want to talk about all of the players that they've had, the legacy players, the sacred cows, their ceiling is the divisional round of the playoffs. And oh, by the way, it would take one in every 1,000 seasons, they might get to the NFC Championship game. To me, I am okay. And I said this after they fired Zimmer and Spielman, before they brought in Kwesi and O'Connell, is I would be okay if they had traded Cousins and Harrison Smith and Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook and Eric Kendricks. I'm okay with a year or two of being around 4 or 5 wins. Because guess what? 4 or 5 win teams aren't winning the Super Bowl just as much as teams losing in wildcard weekend are.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
Does that guarantee that you're going to make all the right moves and then eventually come back on the other side out better? Not necessarily. You've got example after example. The Lions, up until they've gotten Football Fabio, the Jaguars have been perpetually terrible. But guess what? The Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals were in the same spot the Vikings were, and they got rid of their old school coaches and they got rid of their middle-of-the-road quarterbacks. They were lucky to get Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, and now they are Super Bowl competitors again. So there's just as much of a chance to be great again as there is to be perpetually bad. But guess what? Being perpetually bad is really no different than being perpetually mediocre. But that's just me. You know, I'm a lot of people are saying, well, you know, if you had said at the beginning of the year that they were going to get 13 wins, we would have had all these one close games and the biggest comeback in history and the game against Buffalo, you would have taken that. Now, I would have said the same thing I'm saying today. The divisional round of the playoffs was the bare minimum for this season to be any kind of success. I don't care about regular season success. I don't. I'm bored with it.
It's a little bit of a roll of the dice to say that, hey, you know, go get a 4 or 5 win season, get rid of all your veterans, and I could live with that. Free agents, which you also need to help, you know, veteran players to help build your team because you got to fill a roster. Oftentimes don't like to go to losing teams that in cities that have state income tax. It's just a fact of the story. You know, it's just a fact of the story. So I think Minnesota is a destination franchise. One, because the ownership wants to build a team every year. That's why Patrick Peterson came to us. We came off an 8-win season, you know, a 8-win season. That's why Patrick Peterson came to us. Does he come to us over a 4-win season? Does he come with a 5-win? I know the idea to break it down might be sexy. We go get that high draft pick. You know, we might get that franchise quarterback that we've never gotten. Yeah, even when we drafted, 11th or 7th or 13th, we've never gone after a young quarterback. So it's a catch-22, I think.
Absolutely, it is.
What's your opinion on that there, Sam, the Packer fan?
About
your situation. You're saying he gives us the best chance to win. Do you feel like, hey, you could break it down, or you think if you just turn it over to Love and then you're still going to be competitive, right? That's your thoughts behind it.
Well, and that's kind of a mystery. Is what my thing is like if we did turn it over to Love, he hasn't played in very many games. It's like when Favre came or went and Rodgers comes. You don't really know how they're going to develop, you know, when they're playing, you know, more than, you know, 1 or 2 games a season. You know, if the starter gets hurt, you know, it's a gamble. You don't know how he's developing. The Packers are the only ones knowing how he's developing, but he's only getting those practice reps, you know, and then the preseason reps. He's not, you know, going out there and playing 16, 17 games a season. So if they turn it over to Love, no, I don't expect them to be. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a losing season. You know, it all comes with time. He could turn out to be, you know, another future Hall of Famer. That's something that's been great in Green Bay is that we've had 30 years of Hall of Fame quarterbacks. That really helps you win quite a bit. You know?
We know.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, you know.
Well, let me ask it to you this way. As a Packer fan who, and again, I don't know how old you are, but you look like you've been around for at least 30 years, and so that you've known nothing but Hall of Fame quarterbacks playing. As a Packers fan who has had 3 decades of Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and again, I put only won 2 Super Bowls in air quotes because I would love to go 30 years and only win 2 Super Bowls as somebody who's never even seen his team in a Super Bowl. But having said that, objectively, I think we can all say that The opportunity should have been for more than just 2.
Oh, I
the
completely
fact
agree.
that Aaron Rodgers never even got to a second. Well, now technically he should have, but for the stupidity of Brandon Bostic. But that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
But to me, as a fan, would you say that, you know what? I'm willing to take a year or 2 of being bad for the chance. It's a roll of the dice either way. But my mentality of I've never even seen one. I'm willing to roll that dice of being bad for 3 years even more, because I know that the mediocrity, the purgatory has gotten us nowhere. What do you say to somebody who's not been in purgatory, so to speak? Would you be willing to take on 2 or 3 bad years?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For context, I'm a 96 baby, so I've seen them win quite a bit. Yeah, no, I have no problem with it. Like, again, if you asked me two years ago, I'd say hell no. But like I said, if they go to Jordan Love this year and we end up being mediocre or at the bottom of the division, to rebuild and potentially get to a higher peak, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons down the road, I have no problem with that. And it's like I feel like I'd be a little bit of like spreading the wealth, because I've kind of been spoiled with watching them win quite a bit and be at the top of the division, even though it's only been 1 Super Bowl. But yes, I'm completely okay with that. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. And like I said, if they went with Love at the end of the season, or at the beginning of the season, and they tossed Aaron by the wayside, I wouldn't complain. I really, really wouldn't. I wouldn't. Like,
so
I love Rhino.
Rhino here. I'm trying to get him on. He said he'd give us 5 minutes. With Vikings Uncensored. Yeah, I don't know if. Is that true? I mean, and I know it's true. We know it's true. Yeah, he's been chatting up a storm defense. So we need to probably replace half the starters next year.
Yeah.
It's probably, Roger, and honest to God, Kendricks did not have a good game. I think we talked about this. I didn't see him, like, he stopped running after Saquon on like one of the first plays of the game on a run play that they had to the outside. And I'm like, you didn't chase him down, man. What's the deal? And then every time Saquon crossed his face, he had to make a decision, go this way or that way, and he didn't go with Saquon. We know that, because he just had a heyday here. Hey Sam, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm gonna bring on Rhino.
Let me say this to Sam real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
You know what? I know we as Vikings and Packers, and to a certain extent Bears fan, love ratcheting each other up. But if I may say so, thank you for being a cool Packer fan, because I don't know very many of them. But
that's because his parents are Vikings fans.
Well, that might have something to do with it. But jokes aside, I will take your fan base over Philadelphia Eagle fans 100 out of 100
I would take the Vikings fan base over Philadelphia any day. That is the worst fan base organization.
No kidding.
In the damn league. So we can agree on that one, brother.
All right. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Let's go. I might even root for the Giants next week. We got a couple. We got SK. Here we go. Let's bring on Rhino.
While you're doing that, will you WhatsApp me the thumbnail so I can put that on mine?
All right, let's introduce him first. Hang on.
Yeah, that's cool. Everybody in the chat will get you up. What's up, Rhino?
What's up, man? We got Rhino from Vikings Uncensored to tell us to not jump off the cliff, not to slide.
Well, I guess you don't have to do the Thursday bit now.
Tell us some good news, man.
I'm ready to swan dive off that damn cliff right about now.
Thank you. The floor is yours, my friend.
And SK, I'm going to bring you on in a second, okay? Hang on. I appreciate it. Rhino, go ahead, man.
I know there's been a lot of talk back and forth. I've been watching a couple other Ventline post-game shows and stuff where this is my first. The season is a success compared to what we thought about at the beginning of the year. Okay, when O'Connell was first hired, preseason, everything else, most of us thought 8 to 10 wins, fine. But expectations changed during the year, and when we started rolling on, to get bounced in the wild card round makes this season an abject failure.
Thank you. Keep going.
People like being right. So, feed into it. No, go ahead, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Ed Donatel is not fired by the end of the day tomorrow, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
That's what cost us the game today. I don't blame the offense. Yeah, O'Connell got cute on that pass from Jefferson back to Cousins and all that other stuff. But for the most part, the offense did its job today. The Giants' defense is legit. I mean, we knew that coming in. But the fact that we basically made the Giants punt once, second time was when the game was kind of almost out of hand as it was. There's just no excuse for how this defense played. And the part that infuriates me more than anything is Donatel in his, I think it was his Wednesday press conference, come out with his smugness. I think you're gonna like what we have to show you this week and everything else. It was the same tired BS crap that we've seen from that defense all year long. That 3-high shell coverage that basically lets the wide receivers, the running backs, whatever, run free underneath. Daniel Jones killed us with his legs. Nothing changed, and that's what cost us the game today.
Dakota beer drinker overrated. Well, yeah, I mean you can say that now.
That was another thing. You know, we saw all the national media and everything not giving the Vikings a chance today. We had a chance to go out there and dispel that Vikings are frauds narrative that they've been pushing all season long. But instead of dispelling it, we reinforced it.
You're absolutely correct.
All right, we got SK also on here. He is the godfather of the purple code. Thanks for joining, SK. Are you okay, man? Do you need help? Do you need an Uber? I see you're like outside the stadium or something.
Yeah, I'm outside US Bank right now. Outside US Bank right now. One thing I can tell you guys, I mean, I'm as good as I possibly can be right now, just like any other Vikings fan. But one thing I can tell you guys is that every single player in that locker room took this loss extremely hard. This team was expecting to make a deep run in the playoffs. And obviously that was cut short today. But this was a big hit. And I know there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be hungry, going to be upset about this loss. And they'll be ready to go next season. But, I mean, I think we all have the same sentiment. Donatel's got to go. Donatel has got
no question.
There's no excuse in adding to sorry, I missed Vikings Uncensored. I missed your name. Sorry about that. But
Rhino.
He said the Giants didn't punt until the third quarter. The Giants didn't punt until the third quarter. And Ed fucking Donatel had the nerve this week to go in front of all the sports media and state, you're going to like what you're going to see from this defense.
Yep.
You had the nerve to say that and then come out and look as bad as you did. You actually instilled a little bit of confidence into myself, which I completely lost for this defense and Ed Donatel. I actually said, you know what? This team has been hearing it all week. This defense has been hearing it all year. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder. They're going to make plays. They're going to make it happen. Obviously, that wasn't the case. I wanted to throw my beer at Ed Donatel really, really bad, but I wasn't able to. I wasn't close enough. But no, man, it's just ridiculous. And I'll say this one last thing before I pass it off to you guys.
Sure.
This crowd and everybody that showed up today, it was about,
thank you,
I'd say 90 to 95% Vikings fans. About 90 to 95% Vikings fans in that stadium. It's the loudest that stadium has been since I've been in there, and I've been in some pretty loud games. The place was rocking. The fans brought it. The entertainment brought it. Ludacris was dope at halftime. The fans brought it. Ed Donatel and his defensive scheme cost the Minnesota Vikings fan base and team a playoff win. And it's unfortunate. It's ridiculous.
Hey, shout out to Two Evil to Hope. Thanks for the $5, man. He likes to spell Kurt's name wrong. Classic Kurt, check down for the season. I think Two Evil to Hope is the only person happy today about the Vikings loss. I am still not sure he's a real Viking fan, but he is. I'm just kidding. Hey, I don't know how to say this name, but Gridiron Bullies. Hey, thanks for showing up, man.
We'll get you in a second.
Thanks for being on the channel. It's my first vent line. I don't know how to run one, so have at it.
I know. Hey, real quick before dummies before you go. So, SK, let me ask you a couple quick ones, as I know you're finna head out here. First off, safe travels to you. Get home safe, brother.
Thanks.
How do I put this? On the TV, they showed Kirk Cousins and they showed Justin Jefferson right after the Vikings' last offensive play.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to read too much into it, but Jefferson looked furious upon furious. And I'm sorry, but fearless leader Kirk just kind of like, gosh darn it. Am I reading too much? I mean, what was it? What did you see from where you were at as far as when that final pass? Well, I was going to say when that final tackle of meaningful happened. I mean,
ridiculous.
Okay.
So I didn't necessarily see the exchange between Kirk and JJ or a look or whatever it was, but everybody was frustrated, dude. The players were frustrated. The fan base was frustrated. So I don't know if you want to necessarily read into that Kirk Cousins take. And let's be real. This loss has nothing to do with Kirk Cousins. You can throw that
nothing. I will say little, but not. It wasn't the main reason, right?
Look, that last play was obviously big. But if you take away that last terrible read by Kirk Cousins to check it down and on a 4th and 8, yes, terrible. But if you take that play away, there's no reason you can blame this game anywhere near Kirk. This was the defense.
Yes.
Plain and simple. But the thing that worries me with Kirk, we saw it probably in the first quarter, probably till the mid-second quarter. We were targeting Justin Jefferson a lot. Second half came around, it was nothing but TJ Hawkinson.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with Kirk that I ride for Kirk. That's my quarterback till he's not my quarterback. He's a very, very good quarterback. But the thing that stuck out to me this season, and it was kind of throughout the entire year, is that he locks onto one receiver. As far as if he's targeting a guy like Justin Jefferson, he's going to keep targeting him until it's not working anymore. And then he's going to find another receiver, and he's going to, like TJ Hawkinson, and he's going to overload his targets. And that's exactly what he did today. And TJ made a lot of great clutch plays today. So don't take me wrong saying we shouldn't get TJ the ball, but Kirk needs to figure out a way to spread the ball around consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's his biggest issue, to where he looks at a receiver and, okay, Justin Jefferson is working right now. I'm going to keep getting it to Justin Jefferson, but not realizing it's an entire game. Spread the ball around, get your other athletes involved. We got a lot of weapons on this offense. Get them involved. So that's my gripe with Kirk. I don't want to put this game at all on Kirk besides that last play, which is absolutely horrendous. Like, it was such I can't even explain it. It was just such a letdown of a season off that one play. So
it was a fitting end of the game, really.
It really was. And let me be clear.
Let's give some time to some time to our guests. I just showed up and we have him sitting here silent for 10 minutes.
Sorry, Doug.
Go ahead,
you're good,
bullies, man.
I'm gonna hop off here.
Hey, thanks for showing up. Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate you showing up, man.
Yes, sir. Peace out, guys.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Bullies? How you doing, man?
I'm D Money. I normally throw like.
That's how you pronounce it. Yeah. Duh. I'm so stupid. Go ahead, D Money. There we go.
I'm normally kind of the guy that throw a lot of spaces for like the morning shows and stuff like that. Talk a lot of sports and everything like that. I think I've talked to Justin a bunch of times on Spaces too. So my first gripe is we had to put some of this on the head coach, because some of those play calls were like, bro, you're getting cute, and we run a Philly special on 3rd and 1. I'm still flabbergasted, and I understand.
I think that was a 1st and 10 play that he didn't change out of. Like he said, go with it, right? Is that what I thought, right?
And Dalvin Cook, I understand Dalvin Cook is 80%, but was Madison hurt? Because he didn't touch the field. I didn't understand that.
He had 1 catch and 0 carries today.
I didn't understand that. And
then, on the quarterback sneak, the one good thing I thought, I was looking for is that he was in there on the goal line play that Kirk sneaked it in. So he was like, we were showing him as our goal line back, which I appreciated, but we still didn't give it to him. Kirk got the touchdown, great. But yeah, go ahead, man. Keep going.
And how much do you think Green Bay pays Zadarius to rob us? I swear.
Yeah, you gotta.
They paid him about $10 million this year for what he did in the second half. So
So,
Yeah,
I mean, we changed his whole scheme around. I know I've talked to Justin about this. Like, I had big problems going to the 3-4 because I didn't think we had the personnel to run this.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's like, bro, we couldn't even. I'm used to the Vikings being able to stop the run. People used to fear us. Like, even on our defensive line, like, we've never really had a bad defensive line in a long time. I said this is probably the worst defense I've seen in Viking history. There's no way. There can be no way that Ed Donatel stays, bro. There's no way. That's just one thing that we kind of pride ourselves on. And it's like, for us to look like this, it's like, bro, like, Daniil Hunter, you know what I'm saying? You kind of, it took Daniil almost damn near half the season to kind of just, to get acclimated. And then now it's like, okay, well, we got Daniil finally on board on his side. Where's Zadarius? Where is he? And it's a very frustrating thing. And I mean, I love, Kirk. I've been kind of defending Kirk on the side of, you can't use that tired narrative about prime time this year. It's like a real tired narrative against him. But when you make that decision on 4th and 8, bro, it make you real hard to defend you. Like, I mean that period. Other games where you died on your sword trying to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson, when when you needed something most, and then not give him that shot to at least try to make something happen. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey, to answer my worthless opinions question, yes, you can always cut anybody. You will take a cap hit. Usually rookies aren't being paid too much, so it's not a big one. Go ahead, man.
But there's no way that we keep like Hicks or Smith. Not Smith, but Hicks or Phillips for next year, Dewey or.
Well, I mean, Hicks is on a 2-year contract, right? So there's going to be some sort of cap hit. I don't know. Justin, do you have the cap up?
I'll look it up. Go ahead.
I know.
I don't think it's terrible with Hicks. With Kendricks, I know we can let him go with a very minimal cap hit, the way it sounds. And to me, Eric Kendricks looked slow today.
Oh, yeah.
He looked
decisive, and
that's probably the worst game I've ever seen Eric.
I was calling for
today.
veterans would step up and play like it's their last game of their lives, and Kendricks did not play like it was the last game.
No, and the problem was Asamoah went out early with a concussion, so we couldn't even bring him in as a replacement. So
Sullivan,
Eric Kendricks would be a $9.5 million savings after a 1.9 dead cap hit. So Eric Kendricks.
And why are we paying Sullivan again? Why do we pay him? What do we pay him to do?
What would you say?
Well, he's a 1-year guy, so
the only thing Sullivan did all year long was recover 2 fumbles in that one game that didn't count because they blew the whistle.
That's true. Yeah, he did.
He did have one pass breakup like at the end of a game that really helped us. But yeah, he didn't do a whole lot of this game. But he was definitely better than the guy we had playing that position last year. That was pretty horrible.
I don't know if I go that far.
Yeah.
So
McKenzie, right? McKenzie was the guy last year.
Jordan Hicks, for the record, would be a $1.5 million dead, but a $5
What's the Darius Smith?
I'll get him in a second.
Because I think we had a really team-friendly contract with him.
Yeah, Zadarius Smith is a he's got. I think if he sticks around, we have to pay him like 18-19 million. But if we cut him, I think we're only on the hook for a very minimal number, I believe.
It was really small, if I remember.
Looks to be about 3 1/3. This is dead numbers, but it would save 13. So yeah, no, he's not. He's somebody that could be gone too. I mean, he is.
Dalvin is gone too, right?
Let's get Cook's numbers here.
I think he's like
Cook. I think we saved close to 8 million, but we'd still eat 6 million in dead cap if we got rid of him.
Yep, that's correct.
Now the big one is going to be Adam Thielen because his cap number is like 19 million next year.
It's really bad,
and a lot of that's guaranteed. So it's going to be a little tough to do something with him.
Yeah.
And he was showing up early in this game, you know.
He was
pretty good.
I was like,
it's like, all right.
I mean,
Does he still bring Pat P back, even though he says he wants to come back? Or
he was on a 1-year deal, so he's a free agent again.
Yeah, we paid him $4 million this year. We paid him $10 million the year before. I mean, he played better than $4 million. I think he was like rated top 6 in PFF grade for cornerbacks, or even higher. I think.
I mean, for $4 million, I'll bring Pat P back next year, but anything more than that, no.
Is he going to want to come back for this though?
But question for y'all: where do we go from here?
Too evil. Would you? Oh my gosh!
He always wants to bring Zimmer back. I'm like,
number one, Donatelli's fired before
5
p.m. tomorrow afternoon.
He should not even. His key card should already be deactivated.
I think. So, yeah, I would agree. He should walk into the to the front door at Egan tomorrow and grab the door and just rattle it and it not open on him.
There has to be there would be a Vikings fan revolt if Donatel was not fired this.
Oh, they would burn U.S. Bank to the ground.
I made this comment on the our live break-ins I do for Vikings Uncensored during the games and stuff. Is that if Donatel is back as defensive coordinator next year, Kevin O'Connell is nowhere near as smart as I think he is.
Correct.
Rhino, by the way, this must be the longest 5 minutes you've ever given anybody. and I appreciate you for sticking on this one. It's awesome.
I told you to give me 5 minutes to get on because I was on my other computer.
Oh, I thought you only had 5 minutes.
No.
Okay, no, I misread that. Thank you.
My camera on the other one, there's something wonky with my video card on my laptop that the video feed jumps when I'm on it, so I had to come down to my recording studio to get on for this. So
we have 35 people watching. I haven't been watching this thing, but that's the most I've ever seen on our show. But hey, if you're watching for the first time, Vikings Uncensored, go follow those guys on YouTube. They're kicking my ass in growth. That's why I have him on, so I can siphon some of his fans.
Hey, that's why I come on here, so I can siphon some of you guys.
Hey, we spread the wealth. We don't mind.
Let's all give it to purple and gold for days.
One of us succeed, we all succeed. That's my theory on the whole thing.
D Money, do you got like social media that people can follow you on?
Right now, I'm at D Money. I'm at D Money 23. The second. My account got clipped right before the game.
That sucks.
So I'm on the space. Well, my spaces is #GridironBullies. I do it every morning.
Okay.
I'm going to. It's from 7:30 to whenever. I have a whole team for that. We're actually trying to grow as far as getting to YouTube like you guys. So, I don't try. I try to cover all the football. You know what I mean? I don't try to overbearing with the.
Well, I'll be doing a lot of off-season stuff, so
we all will.
So yeah, same with us. Yeah.
So especially with the draft and whole NFL type stuff would be interesting for us on our channel. We're going to do that a lot on my Wednesday show. It's for us, Skull Experience. Okay. So, do you have a Twitter or how can you have Twitter? Right? I can.
Yeah.
You said it's clipped.
No. I got a new one.
Put it in the chat and I'll copy and paste. I'll copy and paste it, and if I'm not already following you, I'll follow you.
Thank you.
And then that way I can make you a friend of the channel, like this guy right here, like Rhino, friend of the channel.
Also, too, I love how I'm watching the potential our 12th picks just doing well, like J-Mo and Kyle Hamilton, who's playing balls to the wall right now. Ravens game. It just hurts more as a Vikings fan. You think you'd be used to the hurt, but it just gets worse and worse every year. It seems like.
Well, I'm gonna bust out the pie chart here shortly. Yeah, exactly. So, you want me to do that now, Dave?
Apparently, we're robbing Purple Daily of intellectual property, and Justin's gonna display that right now. So go ahead.
All righty. So this is the pie chart of disappointment, not praise, not blame.
To pull another one from Purple Daily, here's one of those before I die.
Yes, show us your hands, baby.
We got Judd, we got Mackie. I am 30 years older than Declan. I'm 20 years older than Declan.
There you go.
Yeah, you can be Daddy Declan.
I'll go in reverse.
And we got Realistic Randy below us making a
there we go.
I was gonna say, Bullies, you got the highest praise if you realistic, and that's the one I'd rather be. But all right, number 5 on the list, 10% of my disappointment goes to the quarterback, Kirk Cousins. You just had the best season of your career. You started to break all of the narratives. You were clutch. You weren't checked down, Charlie. And with the season on the line, and while no, you are not the biggest reason for this loss. In fact, you're like number 7 on the list for this loss. You are not absolved from that pass. I get it. There was pressure in your face, and you felt that maybe, I think in his press conference, I saw a tweet earlier that he's like, hey, I felt the sack was coming in that. I couldn't wait any longer for KJ or JJ. That's all well and good. Throw the ball to JJ. Throw the ball to KJ. Don't throw the ball to Hawkinson behind the sticks. 10% of my disappointment goes to you. Number 4, head coach Kevin O'Connell. Talked earlier about that 3rd and 1 ridiculous pass. How many on the second to last drive passes behind the line of scrimmage when we went 3 and out after the Vikings defense finally got a stop? 15% of my disappointment goes to you. People will think that there should be a bigger chunk of the pie to the defense at number 3, who also gets 20%. But I'll tell you what, this defense is what it is. If your expectations for this defense were any higher than what you saw today, then I don't know what you were watching. We got away with crap all year. We played with fire all year. They had a horseshoe up their rear ends all year. And as I said last night and this morning, when they get turnovers, we win. When they don't, we don't. It's as simple as that. 20% of the defense. Old, decrepit. I believe it was Jade who called them the nursing home. 20% of the defense. 20% of the blame also goes to Ziggy and Mark Wilf. Why? Because you consistently want to just run it back and run it back and run it back. Newsflash to the Wilfs. We are Vikings fans. We are gluttons for punishment. If you take a year or two and we're just bad because, you know what, we have to reload, we're still going to show up and fill that stadium. Your pockets are still going to get lined. So if your objective here is to make sure we're always somewhat in it because you're afraid you're going to lose money, guess what? You're not. We've only been doing this for 60 years. We're going to be around. So don't be afraid to take a step back. Stop with the purple purgatory. And stop deciding, well, no, we can't let ourselves go 3-13. Well, 3-14 now, because then we'll start losing our fan base. No, you won't. Biggest slice of the pie, there's 35% left. And if you didn't already know, then you're not really paying attention. The biggest chunk of the pie of disappointment goes to ourselves. Why? Because we should not even be disappointed. We should not be shocked. We should not be awestruck. We should have known this was coming. Why? Because we are Charlie Brown, and the Vikings are Lucy. Lucy's always going to put that football in front of Chuck Brown and say, you know what, Chuck, come up and kick this ball. I know I've done it 1,000 times where I've pulled the ball back and let you land on your behind, but I promise you, Chuck, I'm not going to do it again. I've already done it 1,000 times. It's not funny anymore. And we are Charlie Brown, believing Lucy wasn't going to pull the ball out from us, and we landed on our butts again. So if you are disappointed with Kirk Cousins, that's fine. KOC, that's fine. Defense, Wilfs, all well and good. But the people you should be most disappointed with is yourself for allowing yourselves to be put in this position to be disappointed. We all should have known. That's your pie chart of disappointment, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The floor is yours. Rhino, what say you? I'll start with you.
Too evil to hope hit me again. Appreciate it. Vikings fans are immortal because our team will never win a Super Bowl. I appreciate $5. Thanks. Thanks, Too evil to hope.
There's going to be a lot of changes coming this offseason. Let me rephrase. There needs to be a lot of changes coming this offseason.
There you go.
Starting tomorrow with the defensive coordinator out. And the two guys I'm looking at to replace him is Evaro from Denver. I know he's getting some head coaching interviews and stuff, but he's number 1 on my list. I honestly think Brandon Staley probably gets fired with the Chargers after that meltdown last night.
Take him.
Brandon Staley is a good coordinator. I think he's one of those guys that's a good coordinator, but not, at least yet, not ready to be a head coach.
Agreed.
So I would take him as a defensive coordinator. He has a history with Kevin O'Connell, so that makes a little sense there too.
We got a drink station.
Yeah, there we go. There is probably, I would say, 30% of the defense that I would definitely keep for next year. Other than that, we're going to see a ton of changes. We need to see a ton of changes. I mean, we've got, like you mentioned earlier, Justin, the NFL nursing home on our defensive side of things here. Eric Kendricks today showed how slow he is. Kendricks is not a 3-4 linebacker, so if we are committed to running the 3-4, Kendricks definitely is not in. Jordan Hicks, I don't really care to see back again. Harrison Smith, although he's one of my favorite Vikings players of all times, and I've loved seeing him there, his cap hit is going to be counterproductive for what we need to do. Pat P again. On the cheap, I'm not opposed to bringing him back. Cam Bynum, we can do better. The defensive line, we got to do something because we can't stop the run. So, and then over on the offensive side, of course, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, things like that. There's going to be changes. There's going to be a lot of longtime fan favorites that will not be a part of this team in 2023. And people can be upset all they want to this, but they have to remember the NFL is a business. The name on the back of the jersey does not matter. It's the logo on the front that matters if you truly want to win a Super Bowl.
Hey, I got a question for everybody here. Got a question. I know Justin had his pie chart of blame or not blame, disappointment. Sorry, it's TM, trademark.
There you go.
So the thought of breaking up the team and possibly having a 5-win season next year. Don't you think, and I'm just questioning this, if we break it up this in the offseason, Justin Jefferson, in my opinion, would not come and demand a trade, if anything. He has all the leverage. You wouldn't demand a trade if we broke it up?
I don't think so.
I think unlike Diggs, I think Kevin O'Connell really kind of favors what he likes to do. I think like with think about what happened with Diggs, right? Diggs more so upset at Zimmer and the way that he was running things.
Agreed.
It's not that way with KOC. Obviously, KOC has shown himself in his first year as a winner. I mean, just based off the record alone, whether it be fraudulent or not, he definitely turned the energy around in the building. I think Jefferson, as long as I feel like if we're, aiming towards something, I think Jefferson's not going to ask for a trade. But as far as for us, I feel like we have to stop trying to put a Band-Aid, like Justin said. Stop trying to put a Band-Aid on everything and just rip the Band-Aid off and actually do surgery. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to. Unfortunately, this draft, it's looking a little. I mean, there's some gems in there, but it's not looking like something that it's not gonna be an overnight thing. No. And I think we need to kind of prepare ourselves for that. I was just told somebody, like in my spaces, I just told them, I said, man, for our defense, it's going to be like a 2-year fix. I don't see that like an overnight thing where we're just going to be able to turn it around in 1 year. I don't see that, nor do we have the cap space to do that. So
that's what happens when you run it back 4 years in a row. Is eventually these cap bills are going to come due.
So,
but to piggyback off of what you're saying over there, though, we don't need to go to an elite level defense. We were 31st in the league this year. If we can bring that up to 20th, we would have won this game today, and we'd be playing San Francisco next week, and we would have a shot against San Francisco.
We might even be the first seed.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't have lost that game to Green Bay. We'd have been the 2 seed, and San Francisco would have been coming here.
Well, and that's my look in. There is no breaking up next year. There's no we're going to tank next year. There's no we're getting rid of Kirk Cousins next year. We're going to have him.
Kirk's here next year due to the no trade clause and everything else.
Well, I mean, he still could accept a trade. I mean, if he thinks they don't want him, he's willing to go to another winner maybe, but not. But yeah, he's going to be here next year. So we're running it back next year with this offense. We're not running it back probably with this defense. And the big key is getting a different defensive coordinator here and drafting it and free agents and just making the right decisions on that side of the ball. So our next year is we're not talking about breaking it up. The earliest would be the following year. Would you guys agree with that?
We need to break up the defense next year.
Yeah, well, we can, the defense, because our offense was 7th in the league. and should have been better, honestly.
The offense is not the problem, I don't think.
And it didn't help.
No.
It didn't help us losing O'Neal either. Like,
No,
we really
that's a
needed
good point,
O'Neal.
yeah.
But to be honest, Kirk didn't get sacked.
He may
today,
not
I
be
don't
back
believe.
next year. That's a torn Achilles, right? Like a partially torn Achilles.
It's questionable to whether or not he'll start the season or be ready to start the season. He'll be back at some point in time in the season, but he may not be ready come September.
And also another thing, guys, like with Kirk Cousins, right? And I always said like Kirk Cousins has an expiration date for us. The problem is, you know, people talking about trades and stuff like that. I even brought in some things like some places we could probably trade him to. The problem is when you have a game like this, who really wants Kirk Cousins?
He's shown you what he is.
Yeah.
Good or bad, good, bad, or indifferent. He has shown you what he is.
So who do you I understand a sucker is born every day, but realistically,
minute, but yeah.
with everybody's getting younger, you know what I mean? And I guess in a win now situation, I think the San Francisco train has sailed. You know, that's not happening. So, I mean, who else needs quarterbacks? Maybe the Jets or Miami? And, you know, more than likely we're going to have Kirk next year. So what do we do to, I mean, besides the defense, like, I hate to say it like this for our receiving core, like you have Adam Thielen, and I like KJ, but I mean, where are we going to find a true number two? I guess is more so where I'm getting at.
I think if we stand pat first round, a wide receiver is definitely on the table. Like you know, what's his name, Smith or Jigba from Ohio State, or somebody that's kind of projected right now in the back half of that first round.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a legitimate possibility. Now, to be truthful, I think we end up trading out of the first round due to the fact that we are short on draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the wide receiver classes have been deep the last couple of years, and could we pick somebody up in the third round maybe? I don't see any kind of a
sure you can. Diggs was a 5th rounder, so yeah, there's guys that have and honestly, I know Naylor. I barely knew her. That joke, yeah.
Honestly, I like what Jalen Naylor has shown us the last few games. Now he's
an NFL player. He's definitely an NFL
absolutely.
receiver, and he has the potential to be a top 3 in a team. You know, he definitely.
Now I'm not ready to stand on that soapbox and say Jalen Naylor is our wide receiver 2 next year.
I agree.
I'm just saying his potential, though.
But
I
think at the very least he needs to be a wide receiver 4.
Which he
pushing
is
Cage
right now because he passed over Rager for sure.
Well, Jalen Rager's another one that I don't ever want to see on with a purple jersey on again either.
Yes, please. Rager's key card shouldn't be working either. I think people should be helping him leave.
I do give Rager a little bit of credit for the fact that ISM would have been a horrible punt returner and would have dropped many more balls than freaking Rager ever did.
Rager dropped at least 3 this year, and every time he did try to return something, it seems like he ran backwards more than he ran forwards.
Yeah.
He caught it though. That's ISM. That would have been.
He didn't today.
Well,
the only time
he did
the Giants punted and he muffed it.
He did catch it. It got knocked out of his hands. They actually forced the.
Well, that was one he should have fair caught. He
should have fair caught that one. But yeah, he caught it.
He catches it when he's got nobody within 20 yards of him,
yes.
and when he's got a guy in his face and he tries to run it back.
Still better than what ISM would have been. Guarantee it.
Well, sure.
I would have rather had Jalen Naylor back there returning kicks.
The two evils. I would take this over. Yeah, this. That's my only point in that one.
No, that's like saying, would you rather be punched in the gut or kicked in the nuts? But
punched in the gut, and that's Rager. Nuts was ISM.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's more so, do you want to get kicked in the left or the right? Like,
was that the better analogy? Yeah. Was that the better analogy?
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking about where we'd rather get punched.
So, also, another quarterback aspect I wanted to add that's probably going to come into the late rounds. Hendon Hooker, how do y'all feel about him?
I'm not sold on Hooker. Honestly, I think if we're looking at a later round quarterback, I'm looking at Stetson Bennett myself. But
oh boy,
I'll tell you in a few weeks when I start.
I'm talking late rounds. I mean,
players.
I was listening to the great Fran Tarkenton the other day, and of course, I mean, he's a little biased because he's a Georgia guy, but him talking about Stetson and how he plays and everything else. I mean, he made a lot of good points. I mean, the kid is a baller. Yeah, he doesn't fit the narrative. You know, he's 5'10". He's going to be 25 years old by the time the season rolls around next year. So he's not your normal, 22-year-old rookie kind of thing. But as a late round flyer, I'd take a chance on him.
Here's a quick point. JJ and TJ, but Irv Smith won't be back. Most likely, yeah.
I'm done with Irv. I am done with Irv Smith. That drop he had today. I mean, okay, yeah, he caught a touchdown today, but that drop he had killed a drive.
Yeah.
Again.
I'm like, we hit him in the wrong place. The hands.
Mm-hmm.
When I texted Rap today, we hit Irv in the wrong place. The hands.
And add to that, I think I might be done with Alabama tight ends. Period. I think that might be a trending thing. I think. Just leave them alone. Just fast for no reason.
There's a recurring theme with a lot of offensive skill players from Alabama on that side of things because they're so good in college and they've got so many other players around them. When they get to the NFL, it doesn't necessarily translate.
Mm-hmm. I think I just saw a tweet. Justin Jefferson had 0 targets in the fourth quarter. Not saying. I'm just saying.
Makes perfect sense.
Yes. Why would you possibly want to target that guy?
He had 7 catches in the first half, and let's not throw him at all in the second half. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Hey, if we look at one thing here, if we don't false start, we have a first down. We're either going ahead or we have a potentially go ahead. So there's some mistakes there, man. I just feel like we had the ball. We went for a fourth down. We're getting it. Why is the left?
Well, wait a minute. Why are we getting it though? We couldn't even get a third down. We would have done another dipsy doodle flea flicker pass back from Jefferson.
Dude, we went for it on fourth down. What are you talking about?
We were going to. We didn't ultimately go for it on fourth down. I mean, there's no guarantees.
We actually did. We snapped the ball and we went forward. We just got called for a false start.
And going forward, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Speaking of trick plays, I do want to give the Giants a shout out. This is the first time I've seen the Statue of Liberty play run in like 30 years. They ran that one down close to the goal line.
Yeah.
The last time I remember seeing that, I think Tommy Kramer did it.
It wasn't as close. It wasn't as successful as Boise State, and then proposed to your cheerleader girlfriend on the sideline.
Right. But I mean, it was pulling something out of the old school playbook that I hadn't seen in forever.
And didn't we draft that guy?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we drafted that guy. Yeah. Boise State. I remember.
Drives me nuts.
I will say this with Justin Jefferson, as far as improving, I feel like he might need to put on maybe a little bit more muscle. Only because I feel like a lot of Jordan gotten physical with him this year. I feel like that has to be the focus for him next year because you can he's one of those guys I feel like has a capability. You could throw to him like he's open. He's going to be open all the time. He has that Chris Carter ability where his catch radius is really crazy. But if you're going to keep getting pushed around and then, I mean, when you get into these moments and you have guys thinking like, well, if you just do this, like you be physical with them and bracket them, then we can just shut them down and take them out the game. That can't be. If he wants to be one of the greats, I feel like he has to get better at that.
There's another aspect to that, and it showed up, I think, in the Green Bay game especially, is I think he lets some of these top-tier cornerbacks get into his head a little bit too much. Jair Alexander did it right off the get-go when he gritted in his face after that breakup and stuff early on in the game. And I think –
which may or may not have been a hold, but I'll let y'all
it absolutely was a hold. I'm not going to argue that point one bit, but the fact is he got in Jefferson's head, and I think he's susceptible to that a little more than he should be, and I think that's something he can work on too.
What's up,
for all
Jade?
the new listeners, I got up to 42, which is a miracle on my channel. I appreciate it. Probably not on Vikings Uncensored. So he
Well, we don't do a whole lot of live
if
shows.
he went live, he would have at least 100, if not more. But go subscribe to Vikings Uncensored. Go to Purple and Gold for Days, and hey, help me out too, Minnesota Sports Talk and D Money here. I'll have. I don't know. Put anytime you want to put your handle in the chat, go ahead.
It's in the chat on the under the StreamYard.
Okay,
I put it
cool.
in there for you guys. But
I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat for everybody to see it again.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Cool.
And you guys have been awesome. So I'll holler you guys later.
Hey, good to talk
All right.
to you,
Hey,
man.
thanks for showing up, D Money.
Yeah.
Since we got so many watchers, I'll probably throw the stream in our chat, see if we can bring more people.
Yeah,
on.
I just put
You're
it
still
in
you're
my
still
side
up
here.
for it, man.
No, absolutely. I ain't absolutely.
I'll stick around as long as you guys want me to. I got nothing else going on tonight. So.
no,
shit,
you
yeah.
good,
Thanks, man.
You're good. What's up? So, go get Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I don't know. So, what do you guys think of that? Trade Cousins, get Lamar Jackson. Yeah, no.
I don't want nothing to do with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. No,
the guy's never healthy. There's always been the narrative where, okay, he's a runner that can sometimes throw the ball. Now he's gotten better at throwing it, but I like a quarterback that's mobile, but I don't like one that's a run first guy because their careers are typically going to be shorter than that of a true quarterback who's looking to throw first and then run if you need to, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I do after every game this year, except this time it's just the gut punch, like you said. I mean, what else is there to? I mean, honestly, to a point that he had made earlier, we actually got Thielen involved earlier, and I'm still trying to figure out how. What was really funny, I was looking at the drive charts here a little bit ago, and I'll see if I can't get those back up here again. But the Vikings forced 2 punts the entire game. And the only other 2 times the Giants didn't score was the kneel down at the end of the first half and the kneel down at the end of the game. 2 times. They stopped the Giants 2 times and held them to a field goal once. So realistically, you had 3 drives that weren't touchdowns that game. It's mind-boggling. And what else is mind-boggling to me is you had enough signs of this throughout the season that you should have been better prepared. It's one thing if maybe in the first half you come out and you get your teeth kicked in like that. And sometimes they have, and then they've had answers in the second half. They had answers in the second half, albeit against an absolutely horrible team against the Indianapolis Colts. But they held the Buffalo Bills to 3 points in the second half too. Mind you, that they didn't do anything offensively in Buffalo. And the only 3 points that they got were the 3 points at the end of the fourth quarter where maybe they shouldn't because that wasn't even a catch that they didn't review. So I guess help me understand this, guys. How is it we didn't have any answers whatsoever in the second half after halftime? I mean, that's what really is really mind-boggling to me. I mean, Jade's right. Two punts in an entire game in a playoff game is pathetic.
Well, so we got Jeff Barber here. He's been hammering us here. Superstar Bustin Jefferson, 47 yards.
Okay.
Lamar ain't playing for your poverty franchise. Jeff, please, because you hide the fact of who you're a fan of. Please tell us who you're a fan of. Right. But poverty franchise, we were 6 winning this team in Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era. I know we haven't won any Super Bowls, but poverty franchise, one of the nicest stadiums in the league. We got 13-4. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for showing up and helping out our channel, though. All the comments help my channel. Help us poverty-stricken Vikings fans put out our message. Thank you, man.
There you go.
Jose Perez, that's what they did. They bracketed him. They did. They showed that in the highlights. We didn't throw a 50-50 ball like we did in other games, like we did Buffalo when they bracketed him, things like that. They didn't blitz. It was funny. We didn't blitz the entire first half. When we did finally blitz, they threw to where we weren't and scored a touchdown. I think out of the times we blitzed, maybe 5 times, it worked once and we got a sack. Man, I don't know. It was like either dumb luck or they knew what was happening, or maybe
they were stealing our signals again.
You know what? One of my biggest complaints is we weren't even faking blitzing the entire game. No. And then when we did blitz, it was probably obvious, and that's my viewpoint on that.
Well, and that was the thing, and that's what infuriates me. I mean, Donatel has irritated me for the last 16 weeks, but the fact that when he came out,
we're going to see this week.
Yeah, come out acting all smug during his Wednesday press conference. You're going to like what you see out of our defense this year. No, this week. No, we saw the same tired old BS that you've shown us all season long. That 3-high shell coverage that basically is a pseudo prevent defense. You're playing your cornerback 7 yards off the wide receivers and letting them 5, 6, 7 yards every time they throw the ball. We can't tackle, so those 5, 6, 7 yards become 15 to 20 yards. There was no recipe for success today on the defense.
Yeah, no. I remember every time they
rang here, we didn't get rushing yards today. Well, yeah, neither did at least either running back didn't get the ball a whole lot because it was so easy to pass on either team.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know, we got in a situation where we were down and we didn't run the ball that much, but when we did, it was up the middle and wasn't going very far.
Right.
There was a couple plays early that it worked really well, but the second half it didn't, so we went away from it. But I don't know. The whole running game this year has bothered me. Hopefully we get a better plan next year. Go ahead, man. I cut you off.
No, that's fine. I was losing my train of thought here. What was I saying?
I do that to people.
Yeah, no, I do that to you too. So we're that's what we do. That's why we work so well together. No, I mean to the point about the running game. It's like he doesn't know how to. For as brilliant as he is as an offensive mind, and as brilliant as he is of making this culture better, you have one running back in Alexander Matterson who's, again, I compared him to Leroy Horde, who's a between the tackles kind of guy, and you've got another guy in Dalvin Cook who's like a Robert Smith, where you need to get him on the edge, and it's like you said, Alexander Matterson had 1 carry and 1 catch today. What in the world?
He had 0 carries.
I thought he had 1. I thought he had 1, but no. Either way, no. What I was going to say was about the blitzing. That's what it was. Every time we brought a blitz from the secondary. Every single time, Saquon Barkley didn't even pretend to try to block the guy. He just ran out in the flat because he knew he had E.J. Henderson on him. So at minimum, he was going to get 6, 7 yards. And as you said earlier, 6, 7 yards always turned into 9 or 10 because they can't tackle.
Some of our blitz, like Sullivan's blitz, was so fucking obvious. He backed out of the running play and just threw it. To the guy.
Sullivan looked like a sprinter in the starting block, so you could tell from 20 yards away that he was coming on that blitz.
Yeah, you can't disguise blitzes for nothing.
Well, that's the thing. If you have been faking it part of the game and then do it, different story. But we haven't been faking it at all. And to see you sneaking up and looking like you're gonna, in a sprinter stance, gonna go after the quarterback. So we just didn't disguise anything all day, and then we blitz. They throw it to where you're not, and that was give their quarterback credit, man. He did it again to us. Another 438 yard or whatever yards of offense this game, and he ran for 70 or more. Shit, man, it was a great game for him, man.
Let's be honest here. You could have put any of the 3 of us back at quarterback, and we could have read Donatel's defense today.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Like you
it
said,
would have the game should have been over earlier because that guy was wide ass open when he dropped that ball. He'd have ran for 30. What was his name?
Slayton.
Slayton. Yeah, he was having a pretty good game. He was wide ass open, and he would have ran forever.
But what's really frustrating to me is how good we make mediocre teams look. The Giants are going to get killed by Philly next week. The 49ers are going to destroy whoever they play, whether it be Dallas or Tampa Bay. And the Vikings would have got smacked with it. But you made a good point. We're either going to win today and move on to San Francisco and delude ourselves into thinking we had a shot against them, or it's the last time we were ever going to have to see Ed Donatel defense. I ain't going to say Ed and Donatel.
Yeah, because there is no D.
There is no D in E Donatel. Yes.
And F Donatel.
Yeah. What did Rap just say? Oh, yeah.
Is Rap in here?
No, Rap just tweeted, defense played horrible, but Kirk had the ball in his hands, down 7 with plenty of time, and disappointed. Check down Charlie. Yeah, well. We
didn't get Kirk O'Chains. We got 2020 or 2018 through 2020 Kirk in that one.
Here's what frustrates me. And with all due respect to Paul Charchi, and I know he's a Kirk Cousins stand, and that's fine. Kirk Cousins had one particularly bad play. The Vikings defense allowed 10 plus yards and or a first down 26 times. We know that. We're not blaming Kirk Cousins for the loss today, but we're not absolving him for once again becoming who he was. I don't understand why it has to be one or the other.
Man?
Who
you upset with?
Not you. No, I'm just saying in a general sense. It's
I'm just did that spark something?
No,
I thought someone in the chat sparked something.
No. I just saw a tweet from Paul Charchin where
because for the Kirk apologists, it's like arguing politics. You're either on one side or the other.
Right.
Apparently, it is illegal for you to be in the middle and see both sides of things.
Yes, it's illegal to say that there's enough blame to go around, and it's like you know what they are. You know what it is. I hope you like this one, Rhino. And I'm not talking about Dave. Dave's a little higher on Kirk than I am, but he's not a Kirk Cousins stan the way like a Joe Espinoza or a Paul Charchian are. But true Kirk stans, you want to know what they are? They're Swifties. Okay, if you're a Swiftie. If you say anything non-positive about Taylor Swift, if you don't say that she's the greatest singer of all time and that she's better than Dolly Parton and Whitney Houston, then you're a Taylor Swift hater. It's like, I don't care about Taylor Swift one way or the other. Nope, then you're a Taylor Swift hater. They're just like Swifties. It's like you better praise them and you have to absolve them from any wrongdoing whatsoever. All I'm saying is let's not pretend that, yes, he absolutely didn't cost us this game. He's not the reason they lost, but he's part of the reason why it's just like, okay, you still were in this game and you throw that pass. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, when Charchi,
I completely agree with you.
It's like, I'm not saying that blame should be put on him, but absolution should not be given to him either, I guess.
No, not at all.
So anyway, moving on.
There's Super Will's on, man.
What's up, Super Will? How you doing?
What's up, Super Will?
Hey, click on the link. It's in the chat if you want to get on. Oh, there he is. All right. Look. You're all dark, man. That's why I couldn't see you.
Oh, you're in the car. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, he's in the car. Okay, I'm like.
I was like, you're flying.
Yeah. I'm driving back to Texas. Yeah, driving back to Texas.
Well, hey.
Don't tell me you drove all the way up here for this game.
You drove all the way for that?
Oh gosh, I hope not.
You drove all the way from Texas to the game?
You at the game?
Yes.
Whoa! Wow.
Oh God!
No, not really. Not really. I had a proposal. I was proposing to my fiance. So.
Oh, awesome! Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Yeah,
breaking
man.
News. There is a Mrs. Super Will coming around the corner.
Yeah, she's she is a Viking fan now, but. You know, this weekend was amazing, but this game was not, man. I hate to say it. I think Kirk, man, he was lazy, man. I felt that last play was lazy. So lazy to me.
On the last play, yes. The rest of the game, no. But the last play, yes.
Yes. You remind me of Jay Cutler. Give up Jay Cutler. That's who he reminds me of.
Where he didn't come out for the second half of the Super Bowl? That Jay Cutler? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. You mean the NFC Championship game?
I don't know that I go that far, but
no,
I will agree that last play was
it
was vintage Kirk and not 2022 Kirk.
Yes, and that's what drives me crazy is because we know he has it in him and he has demonstrated it all year. And then when the money's on the line, it's like, and I get it. I did see. I think Will Reggets put it up there where he had, the little diagram of the play going. And so look at Will Rat's Twitter account if you want to see it. And yes, he had some pressure in his face. It wasn't like he had a clean pocket. If he had a clean pocket and threw that, then I'd really rag on him. But no, he was starting. The pressure was coming on him, and all I'm going to say is the same thing I have said. It's like, okay, if the pressure's coming on you, you've got to say to yourself, what gives me the best chance to pick up a first down? Throwing it to TJ Hawkinson, who's 5 yards short. Or throwing into double coverage to KJ or triple coverage to JJ and hope for a pass interference, something, anything. But
right, because at that point,
who cares?
If it's incomplete to Jefferson, it's no different than throwing complete to Hawkinson 5 yards short of the sticks.
Correct.
You turn over on downs either way.
Yeah.
At least you tried it. At least you tried it.
Right, go down swinging, baby.
Yeah.
So you driving through that night, or how? Are you guys you guys stopping somewhere, Super Will? What's your
Yeah,
itinerary
we are in Arkansas right now, and no, we just left Arkansas, and we're like in Texas, so I am like 2 hours away.
Oh wow!
And everything from home. So yeah, drove all the way to Tennessee and everything, proposed and everything, had a good time, and had a good weekend except for the game. But it is what it is. Maybe next year.
Right. There's the mantra. Maybe next year.
I wanted to say hi to everybody and let everybody know the good news and everything like that. And
well, congratulations.
I'm glad y'all thank you. And I'm glad y'all having a good night. I'll see y'all later.
All righty. Drive safe, man.
We want to have you on in the off season, man.
Yeah, we do.
Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, hey, I'm ready. I'm gonna get back to the chat.
It's time for let's get ready for the draft.
Yes, sir.
It's the middle of January. It's MLK Day, but it's already draft season, baby.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately.
All right, guys.
All right, you have a good one.
See you,
Stay
man.
safe. Anybody else that's in the chat here?
Dude, man, dude's getting married and broke the news on our show.
Breaking news live on air.
You guys are like CNN or one of those major news networks now.
Yeah, we are breaking news with the Vikings, with Purple Gang, as Rap would say.
Rap's in the chat, man. He says it's the COVID's kicking his ass right now.
Rap put out a video, so he must be feeling good.
He says, man, I struggled to get out that video. That shit is kicking my ass.
Is that right? Okay.
I don't doubt it, man. That first day where you're feeling today was like the first day you felt it. And that first day fucking hits you, man.
Yeah, no, that first day.
Yeah, you guys had it, have you? Or no?
Yeah, I had it. I had it for about.
I had it before it was cool. I had it like in February of 2020 before it was a big thing.
Before it was cool.
Oh, wow.
I was down for like a week. I literally couldn't barely get off my couch to even go to the kitchen to get something to drink or go to the bathroom or anything like that. It took all the energy I had to even move. So
yeah,
I was kind of a trendsetter on that one, I guess.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well,
when did I get it? We started school again. It was first, so it wasn't that long ago. I don't think. No, it was last year. I think when we came back from Christmas, maybe. I don't know. My kid was my kid's teacher got it, and our assistant teacher, and she's always with my kid, and boy, he brought it home, gave it to me, kicked my ass a little bit. 2 months, probably had a cough for like 2 months or more. It was terrible.
Well, I suppose now is any time as any. If you are watching on Purple and Gold,
this is a COVID channel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you have not already subscribed,
we'll have Anthony Fauci on here later.
Yeah, right.
Anthony Fauci is in the waiting room. Let me bring him on.
Yeah, right. If you haven't already subscribed to Minnesota Sports Talk and you're watching on my channel, please do so. And if you haven't already subscribed to Vikings Uncensored, which is Rhino's channel, please do so. And conversely, all the way around here. So if you don't subscribe to all three channels, hit that subscribe button. We're going to get – where you at right now, Rhino?
Get our channels up.
Hold on just a sec. Yeah, I was going to say. Let's see.
You guys are about to make me hit 1480, man. I'm 1479. I appreciate it, man.
I think we went over 1,500 here earlier this week.
Oh, 1480. Oh, and of course, Vikings Uncensored's got to one-up me. He did 1,500 before I did. He's crushing it. I remember there was a time where I was actually – I remember being ahead of you, but I remember like – damn, this guy's everywhere. I'm like, I'm everywhere.
Yeah, we were kind of going like this for quite a while. We're still doing that.
The reason why I reached out to you is because every time I post something, I'm posting it right above yours, and you're beating me to it every time, every day. I post up, Vikings Uncensored right there, and the static screen comes on. The television screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then whatever, that warning siren or whatever.
Oh yeah. We interrupt this program to bring you.
We interrupt this program. Yeah. Go check it out. Vikings Uncensored.
If there's 3 people in on Dave's chat right now that don't subscribe to me, I'm at 397. Can I at least get to 400 so I can get within 1,000 of these guys?
Let's get Charlie Brown because he's 30% Charlie Brown. That's this level. Purple and gold for days. I don't know about you, Rhino. I am not taking 30% of the disappointment. I am not taking 30%.
Yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, I'll say
that's not my fault. I mean, I'm just kidding, man. I know what you were saying by it.
No, we should be. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we let it happen to ourselves. We just do.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty realistic. In fact, I was planning on if we won to have us 14-point dogs going on the next game. I would have picked us losing by 14.
I would have said at least 10.
I already thought that was the first game I was going to say we were going to lose on video. Yeah.
No, I would have fully expected us to be 2-score dogs if we would have played San Francisco next week. But
it would have been what was Miami today? They were like 12-point dogs,
something like that, and then they lost by 3.
Yeah.
Man, yeah.
That's what would have happened too. We would have been like 10, 12-point dogs, and we would have lost by 6. And it would have been an incomplete pass or a short of the sticks like it was today. That's what would have happened. But alas, next year it is, right?
Yep. Second verse, same as the first. Rinse, lather, repeat.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
I mean, we're honestly pretty, as YouTubers, pretty lucky in the off season, and we're gonna have a shitload to talk about, man.
Yes.
We had a shit, and for the first time, like I wish I started YouTube like right away instead of just a podcast, because the whole coaching thing, looking for a coach. My podcasts were doing pretty good. That I'm like, well, and then I went to YouTube. I wish I had it before that, but now we're gonna be like, who are we getting rid of? Who are we gonna cut? What's the cap situation? Who are we gonna draft? I mean, all that's gonna be pretty freaking exciting, I think.
Yeah, I know, and honestly, the off season and that kind of stuff, I enjoy that stuff almost as much as I do the actual game itself. I'm kind of, just a football nerd that way, I guess, but I enjoy the team building, the strategy, the players, the all that other off-season stuff. So I'm definitely intrigued by what we're going to be doing the off-season. Like I said, the first thing that we have to do is make Donatel turn in his name badge, his key card, and his playbook. Well, no, he can keep his playbook. We don't want that.
You can keep that trash.
Keep the playbook, man.
He can take that with him on to
burn that shit.
You know what that reminds me
of?
It reminds me of, I'm assuming you guys have both seen Top Gun Maverick, right?
Oh, yeah.
It reminds me of when Maverick walks in and he says, hey, here's the manual for this F-18, blah, blah, blah. You guys know it. You studied it. And he immediately throws it into the trash and says, yeah, your enemy knows that too, so it's worthless. So you can go ahead and take that playbook with you. By the way, anybody who cares, Cincinnati just scored a touchdown and a 2-pointer. They're now up 17-10 over the Baltimore Ravens, who somehow, some way are actually in this game. But,
so I had a Giants fan on this week, and he was going to come on, but he couldn't make it.
He's celebrating,
Yeah. He was on his way home. I told him he could still join. I gave him the chat, but he's not coming on. A coworker of mine, but I had him on. I literally asked him, "You're not? I mean, are you scared of our defense?" And we were laughing when we asked him. And yeah, this is definitely not a thing that our defense was not going to scare anybody. And
our defense doesn't scare a high school team.
We stopped turning the ball. We stopped causing turnovers too. And we were only +2 going in this game, and the Giants were +5 or something like that. So we stopped turning the ball over. There was a Cousins game where I don't know how many threw 3 picks. That kind of hurt us in the turnover ratio, but we weren't scaring anybody these last few weeks. No. I thought there was some, hope a little bit because, the two teams we played didn't have really good offenses, and the Bears didn't have their, fields. So I'm like, we only gave up about 600 yards offense for 2 games. I thought, maybe we'll do okay. No, 430, and we made Daniel Jones look fucking like Joe Montana with
he didn't even really look all that good.
6'5", 250 Joe Montana.
He didn't look that good, but he still looked. He
looked really good in comparison because he's playing a junior varsity team. I've been saying that about the Bears.
Didn't you find their plays more creative? At least, especially their running plays, more creative than ours. I mean,
they only ran the ball like 12 times today, 14 times.
But they were super freaking creative, like Saquon for 28 yards for TD and shit like that.
It's not that they were creative; it's that we couldn't tackle and
we were out of position.
We were lined up wrong every time.
There was that sweep that freaking they completely walled us off. But yeah, maybe it's lack of effort, shit like that, or I don't know, man. It seemed like they had he had almost 6 yards per carry. So I mean,
for as many high played players as we have on the defense, for the tackling and stuff to be that bad.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to put the tackling on Donatel. I'm putting the play calling and all that other stuff on Donatel. But these guys are highly paid professionals. They need to be able to tackle better than did. Now, like I mentioned earlier, with the linebackers, specifically Kendricks and Hicks, it seemed like they were too slow to be able to make the tackle most of the time because they were chasing the guy across the middle and 12 steps behind him. But it just, I don't know.
There was several plays where there was two guys crossing Kendricks, and one of them was going to be open. And it was so the defensive design is flawed if that's the case.
Oh, no question.
Let's do a fun exercise.
Well, real quick, let me break in with this. 41-yard touchdown bomb from Tyler Huntley, and the Ravens just tied up at 17-all in Cincinnati, if anybody cares.
Wow.
You're right, though. Saquon Barkley had 9 carries. I mean, Daniel Jones had 17. I didn't realize.
Well, Saquon had how many catches for how many yards?
Saquon Barkley had 5 catches for 56 yards, and he had 9 carries for 53 and 2 touchdowans. I mean, I didn't realize
over 100 yards.
Yeah. I didn't realize it.
So we actually did a better job against Barkley this time than we did last time.
Well, no, but Daniel Jones,
had 17 carries for 78 yards.
Right. So Daniel Jones did not have that last game. We could let's do a fun exercise. Who we keeping on defense? I know we mentioned it, but let's actually go down the list. Dalvin Tomlinson.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, he had a good year.
No, wait. Is this who they should keep or who they will keep? Just so I'm clear.
I actually prefer will keep.
Okay, let's do will keep. Yes,
I like will keep.
All right, yes.
Dalvin Tomlinson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think this one's a keeper because he'll be cheap and he actually's a little effective. Kyrie's Tonga. Nice.
I think so.
I would keep him.
Depth.
Depth at least, yeah.
I assume Harrison Phillips.
Yeah, you have to. Well,
I
think his contract is a little cost prohibitive to get rid of him. So yeah.
Yeah, but not that penetrating, nose tackle you want on a 3-4, right?
No, Tonga would be a better true nose than Harrison Phillips. Phillips should be if we're running 3-4, he should be the defensive end in the 3-4. Or if we're running a 4-3, he should.
Well, that's I guess the key question here is we don't know if they're going to be 3-4 or 4-3, but for right now anyway. No, he's only got one more year, and no, you could. His dead cap hit would be 2 1/3, and you'd save 6.5 if you. Oh, I'm sorry.
So not terrible.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I was looking at 1 year too late. No, you're right. It would cost 4 2/3 to dead money and only 2.1 to save. So no, his contract.
He's back.
He's definitely back. Yeah.
I think we got a Giants fan. Oh, so next guy, Danielle Hunter.
I'll bring him back.
I bring him back, but it's going to be tough because his contract was renegotiated in such a way that they added some upfront money and a bunch of void years at the end of it.
I think his cap is only like 19 next year. So for a top tier edge rusher, I'm okay paying that.
I think we used him better in the second half of the season. That's why he came on. I thought he put his hand in the ground a lot more.
Oh, Danielle Hunter's uncuttable anyway. Danielle Hunter's cap hit next year is $13 million, and if you cut him, it would dead you $18 million. So
I'm saying trade, cut, anything. You can get rid of a guy.
Yeah,
I think
Hunter's back. I think
Hunter's back. Yes, I agree.
This one, we love him, but Eric Kendricks
gone.
Yeah, he's got to be gone. I think. Let's see. Jordan Hicks
gone.
What's his situation again, Justin?
He's got 1 year left on his deal.
Don't care. 1.5 dead, $5 million saved. Gone.
Okay, so he's affordable to cut.
Yes.
Zadarius Smith.
It's going to be tough if he came back on his current contract. He's not going to come back on his current contract. Let's just say that. That contract was set up to be renegotiated after 1 year because he's got a cap number of 17, and if you cut him, you'd only have 3 dead. So there's some money to be saved there. I guess the question gets back to what I just said a moment ago. It depends on if you're going to be a 4-3 or 3-4. If you're 4-3, Zadarius Smith doesn't fit. It's just the reality of the situation. So,
he doesn't fit at all. 4-3. But do you feel like we're going to stick with, like, we're committed to that and we're going to find a coach that will do that defense, or before we continue, what do you think?
Well, that's the question. I mean, it depends on what KOC wants. I mean, he wanted to have a 3-4, because he thought that was the toughest to scheme against. But we
didn't have the personnel to properly run a 3-4 this year.
Agreed. I mean, if you had to put a gun to my head right now, I would say yes. But
well, the part of the for me, the biggest part that was not effective for the 3-4, well, other than playing so far back the whole fucking time, is the defensive line. We didn't have the 3 guys. We didn't have anybody that would get depth. Would get that push up the middle or cause them to give.
We didn't have that true space-eating nose tackle.
Yeah, right. That's my thing, and I was a big Jordan Davis, right? Is it Jordan Davis out of Georgia? That's who I wanted at number 12, and I don't even really know how well he did this year. I'm just saying, but that was my thought process. Is that was because I've seen us lose out on 2 players that ended up winning Super Bowls that we could have picked, like Donaldson and way back in the day for Tampa. We could have had those guys, and they ended up winning Super Bowls, and they were a big part of it because they were,
we took Derek Alexander with Warren Sapp.
Alexander played like 3 years for us. It was awful because he smoked a little dope, and that's why we didn't want to pick him. And then thank God we didn't think about that when we took Moss.
Can I say this though? As much as we would have loved to have seen it happen, would we really have been? Of course, we would have been better. But having John Randall and Warren Sapp, 2 very undersized guys, would that really have worked to the extent that we think that we just assumed that Warren Sapp and John Randall together would have just been ridiculously awesome? Would it really have worked that well with those 2 undersized tackles? Didn't they both need like a bigger guy next to him anyway? Or am I crazy?
I think it would outweigh.
That's true.
Outweigh
the 0 that was Derek Alexander. Yeah, good point.
If it's 4th and 1, we could put two different guys in there, right? But
you have a guy that you can run in there.
The penetration sometimes, the get off on the ball Warren Sapp had, and all those guys.
What's up, Johnny Cash?
Patrick Peterson. I think we bring him back.
I hope so.
I think because of the leadership factor.
I think so too, and I think at his age, he's not going to be overly expensive.
I think he's going to get a pay raise, and I don't think we can wait as long as we did. I think he's a guy that right at free agency, we're going to have a decision. Last year we could afford it because he had a bad season, very subpar season. He admits it, and he wanted redemption, and that's why he took $6 million less, $4 million, and sure. He didn't hold out, didn't wait for a winning team to pick him up in the offseason. He wanted to play for us for a lot less money. So I think I'd reward him for the season he had. And the fact that we still got all these young corners, and they really relied on him. And I think he helped get the best out of him. Leadership mattered in that point. I think the next guy, leadership matters, but doesn't matter that much, and that's Harrison Smith. What do you think they do with him?
Depends.
I mentioned this earlier. Harrison Smith is one of my favorite Vikings players.
Yeah.
Has been for many years, but I think it's time to move on. I brought this up. I thought we should have moved on from him last year, but I can see him coming back, but I think it's probably in the best long-term interest of the team if he doesn't.
And I'll say this: that determination will not be made by Kevin O'Connell or Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. It will be made by Ziggy and Mark Wilf.
Unfortunately, you're probably right.
That's the one thing about the Wilfs as owners that I wish were different. They have been marvelous at spending money when it was necessary, spending money on the stadium, spending money on the facilities, the beautiful facilities at our TCO. But one of their biggest weaknesses is hanging on to their sacred cows, their legacy players.
Mhm.
And I think Harrison Smith, that contract should not ever have been signed. He had 2 years left on his deal, and you re-upped him unnecessarily out of loyalty, out of for what he did and to what he has meant to this organization. And let me be clear, I'm not begrudging Harrison Smith here, okay? I'm just talking about in a sense of roster construction and can he perform to this level of his contract at his age and that sort of thing. And frankly, again, no, he hasn't lived up to. Now, part of it is a different scheme and different ways he was being used than he was under Mike Zimmer, so I'll give him the benefit of it out there. But the Wilfs are going to have to look in the mirror, like we said earlier. Like I said, I say, hey, you've been trying to just run it back with these same guys, and at some point you need to understand that that kind of gets stale. And I agree with you. I think they should have moved on from him before this season. I definitely think they should now. It's nothing personal. He's a Ring of Honor guy. He's a borderline Hall of Famer. But unless you're going to bring in a different scheme that's going to utilize the skills that he once had and hopefully can get him back, then no, you don't bring him back. I'm sorry, you don't. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Oh, back to Cameron Bynum.
No.
Backup at best.
Yeah, I think if we find someone better, yeah. But
he's still on a rookie deal. He's on his rookie deal, so he'll be here. But I think he needs to have competition for starting.
Yeah, and Metellus is going to be there. Lewis Seen's going to be there, and whoever else we pick up and draft. Right. Duke Shelley is, I think, a resounding yes.
Absolutely.
Probably right now, probably our starting corner. Yeah. Right?
Absolutely.
Josh Metellus, I think he's a free agent, right?
Yeah, I bring him back.
Shannon Sullivan.
No.
Gone.
Do you think any of the other corners that we have? I think a Booth Jr. could play. Try him out at nickel. I felt like he could play nickel.
Probably.
So, do you feel like any of the other corners we have could play nickel?
Well, Sullivan can't. Sullivan couldn't play nickel, so it really doesn't matter.
No. Yeah.
Well, they seem like they didn't want anybody else to play nickel, and they were trying. And whatever happened to that 3 safety thing that we were going to do? I guess that went out the window when Seen got hurt. Is that what
happened to a lot of the things they said they were going to do on defense?
Yeah,
could Bynum maybe, because he was a corner one time. He could try out at nickel?
Maybe.
I'm over Cameron Bynum, but to be honest with you, I'm over
who?
I'm over Cameron Bynum.
Oh, you're over entirely?
I'm over him. Yeah.
Who else? Well, obviously these other guys are Troy Dye. Yeah.
Whatever.
Don't care.
Well, Jonathan Bullard.
Gone.
I think like a Jonathan Bullard probably goes to camp, but it could be a guy that got cut. But I think he'd probably
depth at best.
Yeah, James Lynch, probably the same deal.
I've always liked James Lynch. I think he's not a starter, but he's a good depth guy, and he can make plays when he's in there. So I'm okay with bringing him back.
What year is Patrick Jones in?
I don't care. The answer is yes.
Oh, geez.
This was his second year, so we've got him for 2 more anyway.
Okay, so that's what I was asking. Yeah, so he's good. Probably DJ Wanham.
I think he's got one. Wanham's got 1 more year on his rookie contract, so he's back.
He's gonna make the team, I think. Cameron Dantzler, he's probably coming back. I don't know. Did anybody know what was going on with him?
They just said it was a significant personal issue, so I don't know what was going on there, but
I hope everything's all right.
I'm not casting shade, but there's like Brett Favre played the day his dad died and balled out like crazy. I'm like, he's a more important piece of the puzzle, but I imagine it has to be something pretty bad that he didn't play or he didn't suit up, right?
I mean,
it's got to be something really bad.
And all that aside, Dantzler has shown sparks here and there, but by and large, he hasn't performed the way we expect him to as early as he was picked. So I think might actually be a bubble guy, depending upon what we have for other cornerbacks come next year.
Well, Cameron Dancer was 3rd round, right? He was the other guy that got drafted in the 1st.
Yeah, he was a 3rd rounder, but he was projected as high as
Oh yeah,
early second for
because he ran the 4.67 in the combine, but then it was the COVID year, so he did his pro day and he showed something like 4.37, but then they were like, I don't think that was a 4.37, but who knows? Yeah. He put on weight for the combine because people thought he was undersized because he was like 180 or it was like he was really light. So yeah, it was a mistake on his point. Chris Boyd, he'd probably try to make it as a special teamer.
Yeah.
Sezi Atamowehu, he's kind of like that 3-4 defensive end that they would have been looking for in the draft. He comes back, right? Because he'll be up there. Ross Blacklock, they'll probably give him a chance. They traded for him.
That was a stupid trade to begin with, I think, because the guy did nothing all year long.
He didn't impress me in college either. When I went and looked at, I'm looking at his highlight tapes, and I wasn't impressed in his highlight tapes.
No, and he was originally a 2nd round pick with Houston, and he didn't show out then. I mean, granted, nobody shows out when they play for Houston, but I wasn't a fan of that move when it happened.
Dude, we got 66 people, man. Hey, thank you, everybody. Let me put this off and plug your channels. Vikings Uncensored, Rhino, man. He's awesome. Go check him out. Purple and Gold for Days and on Minnesota Sports Talk. Let's get these guys, get their channels growing. Rising tide lifts all boats. Thank you for listening. Keep the questions coming, guys. Keep the questions coming. Thielen confirmed said that. What did it say? Thielen say this is his final year. What? I don't know. I'm not sure. Soheep Ring had that legit, but who knows?
I haven't heard that, but
Anatel was trying to prove the league was smarter than everyone. He was very wrong.
Well,
yeah.
I guess he missed the D.
So we all missed the D today. That was the problem.
Tweeble the Hope took the D out of Donatel's name.
Yeah, right.
Oh, dude, that's the funniest thing you did, man. Oh, man. You're welcome on my channel anytime, Tweeble Hope.
That was like last year when at the end of the Zimmer stuff, Lance and I affectionately called it the E-fence last year because we had no D's. So
yeah.
I'm gonna use that, Tweeble the Hope. I'm gonna give you credit in my shows, but I'm gonna use that on a thumbnail, and I'm gonna steal that. Anatel because there's no D in his name. All right.
Hopefully we don't have to worry about Anatel after tomorrow, but
yeah,
we might as well do offense now since this is so fun. Yeah, Kirk Cousins will be here next year.
No question about that.
Dalvin Cook.
No.
So, that means Alexander Madison. Do you think we try to re-sign him? Why the other two guys are?
I think Madison's gone too.
Because you get a payday, or we just don't want him?
It's going to get a payday.
Kene and Ty Chandler will still be here because they're rookie contracts, which means we might be switching up. I personally think they're going to attempt to try to sign Dalvin to like a 1-year buyout type of prove it deal to where he can still reach free agency before 30. But that's just me thinking they're going to try to do that. If it works out, it works out. Otherwise, he's definitely gone.
I mean, regardless, you can't pay Dalvin Cook $14 million.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like one of those, hey, we'll give you a guaranteed this much money or we're going to cut you. And the other, the guaranteed money is more than the cut money. Right. So that's what I'm saying. Adam Thielen.
Same thing I said about Harrison Smith. I'm sorry. I know he's a Minnesota guy and his incredible story, but his skills have eroded. His cap number next year is $19 million. You cut him, you save $6 million. So that's going to be a difficult choice because you're only saving 6 out of the 20 because he's got so much tied up into some prorated signing bonuses. So realistically for me, I would probably just bite the bullet. But, if they can renegotiate, the problem is they've already got a void year on him already. They've continuously pushed money into signing bonuses for him that at some point you're just going to have to eat He's got like 13 million worth of signing bonuses still in there. He doesn't have any guaranteed money, but he's got 13 million in his all prorated signing bonus. So there's not a whole lot of money to be saved. But realistically, you can't pay Adam Thielen 20 million when he's at best your third wide receiver.
Right.
Yeah, you know, and I know some people don't want to hear that.
The only way to not take a hit is try to renegotiate his contract, right? The only way not to take a hit.
But the thing of it is when you talk, they've already renegotiated with him so many times that they've continuously pushed money into signing.
When I'm not talking about like I'm not talking about like doing what they've done. I'm talking about actually renegotiating, where we're gonna cut you, or you're gonna, but we want to have you back, but at this money, because the other contracts was he wasn't losing out on anything. They just gave him a signing bonus and then prorated everything. That's what they did with him to lower the cap a little bit. This I'm talking about like, hey, we're going to renegotiate contract. We want to give you only $8 million this year. Forget the rest of it and sign this or don't play for us anymore. That's the type of contract I'm talking about. Same way with Dalvin. I'm talking about the same thing as what we're doing with Dalvin.
Well, I'm not a cap expert. All I know is that
it would be him wanting to stay here is what I'm saying. Only thing would keep him from, because if he gets cut, he's got his money, right? It doesn't matter to him, but it will hurt us.
Well, he'd be taking a massive hit, and he'd almost be playing for vet minimum at that point because, like I said, they've already put a lot into pro. But again, for me, it's one of those. Yeah, okay. If he came to you and said, "Hey, I will take an extremely team-friendly deal, and we can work these numbers out to smooth it out a little bit more for you." But even with that being said, he was good today for a couple of plays here and there. I won't take that away. And like I said, I'm trying not to come across as cold-hearted here, but the simple fact of the matter is that he's at best a third wide receiver right now. So I don't know. Again, it goes back to, are the Wilfs going to do what they have to keep him no matter what? Or are they going to say, hey, if we got to let him go, we got to let him go? I would move on from him, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But I guess you're getting rid of a player, but you're still a cap at 19 million, right?
So right now he's at 19 million. If you got rid of him, it would dead you 13 million. So you'd save
13 million. So all right.
You'd save 6.
So 13 million. So we're gonna this is the thought here. We're going to release him, get another player that we're going to pay how much money? I don't know, 5 million. So now that player is 18 million. You see what I'm saying there?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. That's my thought process behind it.
But if you're paying 18 million for a guy who's a true number 1 or number 2 wide receiver,
well, yeah,
who's going to be productive, I feel better about that than paying 19 million for Adam Thielen, who's at best a wide receiver.
Well, if he's a true number 1 or 2 receiver, then you're probably paying that guy 18 million, not 5 million. You see what I'm saying? So that guy would be
unless you draft somebody.
Well, unless you draft somebody, right? You'd really have to hit it big there. Then you're talking about, okay, now I can take the $13 million cap hit because we got this guy. But yeah, I'm just saying you got to add it's like the Rams last year. Yeah, they had a quarterback that was making 25 million, but they were paying another guy not on their team 27 million. So it's like their quarterback position was 52 million or whatever. It was incredibly big. Yeah, $52 million.
Kind of the same thing that the Packers actually paid Zadarius Smith more than we did this year.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You're playing for a guy to play for another team, kind of like the Moneyball with Jermaine or whatever his name was. So moving forward, JJ Osborne.
Real quick, we'll circle back to this. The breaking news in the Cincinnati-Baltimore game. It was tied up at 17 with 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Baltimore has the ball, 3rd and 1 on the Cincinnati. 3rd and goal from the Cincinnati 1. They tried to do the quarterback sneak where the quarterback puts the ball over the goal line, gets the ball knocked out of his hands, and then there is a 97-yard return by the defensive end for Cincinnati. Cincinnati is now up 24-17. Big man touchdown. Unbelievable.
Insane.
Love me a big man touchdown.
Big man touchdown, 97 yards.
I hate that play. When they try to die. You got to secure the ball, man. Where am I? KJ Osborne.
Yes.
KJ's back.
Obviously TJ Hawkinson's back, but he's $9 million now.
Well, you can re-sign him to a long-term deal and smooth out his numbers. I'm going to say yes to Justin Jefferson before you get there.
Yeah.
We'll I skipped him. I skipped him. I didn't want anybody to say anything. Well, we can talk about that. Do we extend him now?
Or yes, you have to. You have to.
With Justin Jefferson, you sit down with him on the other side of the table. You slide a blank piece of paper and a pen over to him and tell him to write down a number, and then we give it to Rob Brzezinski and let him work his magic.
And then you say to Justin Jefferson, "What do you want us to do? Do you want us to run it back, or do you want to accept a rebuild for a couple of years because we might have hit our ceiling with this group?" So to the point that was made, and I know it was probably an hour ago, but when we're talking about if we tear down this thing, what does that do to Justin Jefferson? Does he want to play here? When you go to his contract negotiating, you say to him, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep going this way, or do you want to try a different one? And then there won't be you just did this and you're going to piss Justin Jefferson off. Yeah, you ask him what he wants. You give him the keys to the car.
When it boils down to it, Justin Jefferson wants to win. He's said that many times. Winning is more important than money and everything else. Now, whether that's true or not, I mean, he says it all the time, so I tend to think to a point it is. I mean, of course, he's going to get paid. He knows he's going to get paid. But, when he played in college, he was a continuous winner. He wants to win. You saw it today at the end of the game, how pissed off he was and dejected he was. The kid wants to win, and that's the kind of attitude we want around here.
To answer the hope, only way he's tradable is if we eat is like almost as, if not all, but almost all of his contract.
And then you'll end up with a 6th-round pick. No, he's not traded. I mean, he's got little to no value.
Yeah, nobody is paying Adam Thielen $19 million next year.
No.
Draft another JJ. It's easy. Just draft another JJ. Why not?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, go get his former LSU teammate there, Kayshon Boutte. I'd take him.
I know it's funny, but Jalen Naylor, man, 6th round. I think he was a steal. After the draft, going through everything,
I think we got something there. I'm not ready to anoint him to that point yet.
I'm not either until I see him on the field. But
I'd like to see it though, one way or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just tired. I'm just tired of us. Diggs didn't dress when he first started. Thielen didn't play till year 3. JJ wasn't our starting receiver until week 3. I'm tired of that shit. Play him, find out if he's any good. You know what I'm saying? And so far, it looks pretty good. But I'm really after the draft, I said if it was a different draft and he was healthy his entire senior year, if it was a different draft because it was a deep receiver draft with big fast guys. If it was a normal draft, I would have said he was end of round 2, but most likely a 3rd round draft pick. That was my opinion. If he stayed his entire senior year, he was on for 1,000 yards and he was a highlight reel, man. So that was my viewpoint with him. But and I want to be right about that one. That's for sure. So CJ Ham.
Yes, I hope so. Anyway, there's a guy with leadership.
Probably. I mean, for as little as they value the fullback position, I can see him being gone, but I don't mind having him back.
Look at this. Tear down this team, Mr. Doubleman. Ronald Reagan, probably. Dude, man, you're cracking me up tonight, man. Jefferson's care about winning the Super Bowl. He don't care about money. And so I think this next year is an all-in chip deal. Don't you think? It's an all-in chip because we're not getting rid of Cousins. We're not getting rid of the offense. Anybody on the offense, most likely.
I think this year was kind of an all-in chip deals, and I think
didn't you hear the memo? It was a competitive rebuild, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But what is it? Wouldn't it be? Isn't that what's going to happen? I mean, we're going to revamp the defense, but we're going to try to revamp and pay people to play defense for us and go after a big-time D coordinator. And I think it's an all-in chip deal. Because
the problem with all-in chip deal in a Wilf's mind means we're going to run back pretty much everybody we have right now, who are all going to be a year older and a year slower, and it's not going to work.
And their all-in chip is to say, okay, well, we got to this point last year, and hopefully we can get to the divisional round next year, and then maybe if we get really lucky, we get to the NFC Championship. But that's the problem, is that the biggest weakness with Rick Spielman and the Wilfs and hopefully it'll be different under Kwesi, is they would say, okay, let's look at everything that went well this year, and let's look at the things that didn't go well, and let's try to fix the things that didn't go well, and let's just assume that all the things that went well are going to continue to go well. It doesn't always happen that way. And I think that's one of the things that they need to get through their mind is you can't just keep plugging holes here and there because more leaks are going to spring when you do it that way.
Well, and Spielman said this more than once. His philosophy was just get into the dance and then hope you get lucky.
Yeah.
That's not how you build a championship team, is hoping you get lucky.
Yeah, hoping you know what? Here's the thing. That was all well and good when, you know what? The New York Giants in 2007 and 2011, that's what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of see, well, look at what the Giants did. And I know we all know how much the Wilfs, outside of the Vikings, love the Giants.
Right.
Just because it's happened a couple times doesn't mean it's a likely thing to happen. And if you're banking on let's just get in and hope we get lucky, then you're playing such long odds at that point. And I think that's
like saying
mentality that needs to change.
Yeah, that's like saying you can win the Super Bowl with a crappy quarterback because Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl and Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl and
Eli and
Joe Flacco, yeah.
Nick,
those are outliers. It's not. Yes. It's the exception, not the rule.
Exactly.
Well, I'm gonna give some credit to Brad Johnson. He's probably percentage-wise, he's one of the winningest coaches or winningest quarterbacks in Vikings history. He just didn't play 50 games like a Kirk Cousins but he's got a big winning percentage, and he wasn't too bad, man.
He wasn't bad.
No, he was a high-end game manager. He wasn't he wasn't a guy that was going to lose you a ton of games, but
he's great at trick shots. Did you ever get to see his TikToks?
Yeah. Plus he's the only Vikings quarterback to throw a touchdown pass to himself.
Yes.
Big bad Brad here. He was a starting quarterback in '98, right? And he got hurt.
That first game, he's the first touchdown thrower to Randy Moss. He threw Moss's first two.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Brad's biggest problem was that he was going up against prime Brett Favre and Mike Holmgren. That's what Brad's biggest problem was, is that by the time Holmgren and Favre got out of their primes is when he got hurt, and then Randall took over, and then they drafted Dante, and then that's why he was able to move on to Tampa and be put in the perfect situation for him where, he had the perfect defense for him where, like you said, he was a very high-end game manager. He wasn't going to be the reason you won, but he was also not going to be the reason you lost.
Yep.
And when you have a defense like that, that's all you need.
We hit 67, by the way.
Say what?
We hit 67, by the way. This is a miracle for me. I think it's because we had, let's plug him again, Vikings Uncensored, Rhino.
Oh, definitely. That's why we did.
Because we have him.
Hey, glad I could help.
Let's see. Oh, so, I guess Rager. No.
Right?
God, no.
No.
I am so done with Jalen Rager. Get him the hell out of here.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Naylor returned punts in college, but ISM never returned a punt in college. That's what I'm saying. It would have been his first punt return in a game would have been in the NFL. So that's why I was worried about that. But like Naylor has actually returned punts in college.
Right.
He could win that job, and Rager would be obsolete, or whoever we'd draft, right? It's Christian Darrisaw, obvious. Ezra Cleveland, obvious.
Yeah.
Garrett Bradbury.
Nah, that's the question.
Too expensive?
I think so. I think he's gone.
Yeah, he probably is. Unless we can get him to a team-friendly-ish type deal, which we might be able to.
Just say, hey, we put up with your shit for 4 years, and then you finally get good. Help us out a little. No, he deserves to get paid.
Yeah, but he got work today. He got worked.
To be fair, I mean, it's his first game back after,
I think there was a couple plays early, but was there much later than that? I think.
Oh yeah, there was a couple where he was getting himself walked right back into Kirk Cousins. I mean, heck, that last play, I'm not sure if it was Cleveland who gave it the pressure.
It was. He played kind of like last year, Bradbury today, instead of how he played the first 15 games of the year. But I'm not going to be disappointed if he's gone.
Right.
But
yeah,
there's a possibility he comes back. We'll put it that way.
Team-friendly deal, sure. If not, no thanks.
I'm willing for any upgrade, and I think the two places that was center and right guard that were subpar this year at time. I think in combination, like I don't know, man. There was situations where there were stunts and they didn't communicate, like they didn't know what they were doing. And maybe they'll come with time. And I still have faith in Ed Ingram, but that was our two weakest positions on the line. Definitely. But I think he's replaceable. This year may have been like a holy shit, I need to do something or get kicked out of the league, and he did it, which was good. I don't know with him, man. But I personally think he's going to be free agent. He's going to test the waters. He's going to get paid by somebody, and he'll jump at it. Like he won't even give us a second chance. But we won't have enough money to pay him anyway, so I think that's why I think he's gone. Ed Ingram, you think he keeps the starting job next year, or do you think we're going to really try to even bring someone else in, make it competitive, or try to bring in a big name or draft that position?
We're not going to be able to afford to bring in a big name.
Draft the position then.
So draft is a possibility, but I think they're going to give Ingram the opportunity to win the job again next year, I think.
I think Nick Mullins is back, right?
Probably.
I think we're going to try.
I bring him back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first guy we felt competent at backup quarterback in a while, and I thought he played good against the Bears.
And he's not Sean Mannion, so
he's not named Sean Mannion. Bring his ass back.
Right.
Hot take. Alexander Madison, we talked about already. Jalen Reagor, BC Johnson, IR.
No.
Yeah, he can go.
Maybe he doesn't make the team. I think maybe it's one of those times we have him in camp, but he don't make the team because he's
he'll be gone in cuts, I think.
Sure he's like one of those guys. Well, hey, bring him in. Smith Jr.
gone.
No.
All right. Blake. Did I say Blake Brandel? Blake Brandel.
He's probably here.
Competing, as the backup left.
Backup, yeah.
Chris Reed. He was a 1-year deal, wasn't he? Or no, he was 2-year deal.
2-year deal.
Yeah.
I'd say he wasn't that expensive. I would say he'd be back.
Yeah, he's like $4 to $5 million, I think his deal is maybe, but.
All right, so I have an answer to this Thielen question now. Let me jump in here for a second here. So apparently Caitlin Thielen on Instagram on her post said, and just like that, the season's over and our time in Minnesota might be at an end. Super proud of your attitude. So I don't know if that's where the discussion of, hey, is Adam Thielen retiring or is Adam Thielen not going to be back? I don't know if that has anything to do with that question we had earlier, but I've just kind of been hunting and pecking around here to try to figure out why somebody asked us that question. So I don't know if somebody was interpreting that as he's done or not, but
I'm guessing they're hearing the rumblings and everything else too. And they know it's a business.
They see the writing.
Right.
They see the writing is what they see, I imagine.
Right, exactly.
Keep your girl in check, man.
I'm not touching that.
You're on your own on that one, Dave.
I'm kidding. Let's see here. Oh well, Brian O'Neill, man, is he going to be able to come back next year? That's a bad injury, right? Yeah, it was partially torn Achilles.
Partially torn. Question as to whether he starts the season. He'll be back at some point in time during the season, but is that one of those things where it would almost be better it to be all the way torn? So you like the elbow ligament type thing for a pitcher. Partial tear is just you don't fix it, right? Partial tear in a tendon or a Achilles tendon. I don't know. That just seems bad. Yeah, Achilles tendon injuries are never good, regardless. So it's hard to say, but
that's. Sucks, but hopefully I think we're definitely offensive line is going to be a priority depth play next year.
But here's
and another shocking new news: the sun rises in the east and water's wet. So
yeah, exactly. But isn't that the whole point of this discussion? Is we've got all these holes.
Cheeseburgers are delicious.
Yes. Indeed. And bacon trumps all. But I don't.
Absolutely.
Give the Giants credit. They win, and they won in Minnesota. They were the better team tonight. Better luck next year. I do believe they were the better team tonight because that defense of ours is not good for anybody.
Yeah.
I don't even think they were the more talented team. I think that the Vikings, in spite of the fact that their defense was trash, were still the more talented team. But
the Giants played better.
They played better.
team being the key situation.
Yes. Yeah.
But did I say Austin Schlottman? What was his injury again?
I don't even know.
Broke his ankle.
Oh,
all right. Yeah, that's tricky too. He'll be a depth guy. Probably, who knows, bring him back. Depth,
Maybe.
to fight Ben Ellison, Johnny Munt. I imagine they, veteran minimum type come in and compete.
Yeah.
Thomas Hennigan. Oh yeah, Thomas Hennigan's on the team. This Reps guy. He was like gonna try to get him on the show. Thomas Hennigan from I forget what FCS school that was. But yeah.
I forget off the top of my head.
It seems I forget what it was. Westford.
No, it wasn't
mountain somewhere.
Coastal Carolina, wasn't it?
No, it was remember that team that upset Michigan? That was a division, was a Division II team. Appalachian State.
App State, right.
Is App State.
So they're FBS, but they're a group of 5 team now, yeah.
FBS. I don't even remember what the initials are, but yeah. Hey, good South Dakota State.
There you go.
Won the championship this year. So
okay, I'm going to sign off now. I don't want to talk to you guys anymore.
I went there for 2 years. Why?
I graduated from NDSU, so
right.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I did
as you see up in the background up there.
Oh, there it is. There's yeah.
In all seriousness, I got about 5 left in me. I got to go at the top.
Yeah, I got to take off here pretty quick too. So
we've been on for 250.
We just dropped below 50 when you said that.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Son of a bitch.
Well, you know what? If you haven't subscribed to Vikings Uncensored, please do so. If you haven't subscribed to Purple and Gold for Days, please do so. And Minnesota Sports Talk, although I'm guessing, 95% of the people in our chat right now are on your channel and not mine. So, shameless plug. I need 2 more to get to 400 tonight. I got 1 more since we
2 more.
Let me get
2 more. If you're just listening now, go to Purple and Gold for Days.
Help them out.
Vikings Uncensored doesn't need any help.
No, we'll take all the help we can get.
He's got it all handled.
Yeah.
He's got
no, we're not Vikings Report. We don't have the thousands and thousands.
Craig, we're not FTP either, So
yeah,
we're haters. We said you were the better team tonight.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you want?
You probably said Brock Purdy for treasurer. Is that your Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
Jones is such a mid QB. He's the second coming of Tebow. He's better than Tebow.
Come on. Stop all that. Well, Rhino, you just got your normal show premiering on Friday this week, or do you got anything extra else going on?
Nothing extra. Lance and I will break down, of course, today's debacle and start looking forward to the off season. We'll have a ton of stuff like we did last year. We'll start breaking down draft prospects. We've got some guests lined up for some Vikings historical stories and things like that. Working on trying to get some players on former players if we can. A lot of good stuff that we're working on. So, just ask everybody to check us out, stick with us. And, we're building our show as best we can and working it along. So, want to thank everybody again who has joined us over the last 2 years. I want to thank you guys again for having me on again tonight for the extended talking session. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And, is what it is. We're Vikings fans. We're used to this stuff, so we'll do it again next year.
We're in it together, man.
Absolutely.
Okay, hug.
All right, Too Evil, you got to be number 400. I thought you already were subscribed to me, so that's why I haven't even said anything to you. But we've reached our goal. We hit 400 on Purple and Gold this evening. So anybody else who has subscribed to me, I'm looking to be at 500 by the end. No, I'm just playing. But in all seriousness, thanks everybody. It's been a fun season. I've only been doing this solo since the middle of October and hooking up with Dave and Rhino and Rap and everybody else on the Purple Code and the Purple Code family at G&G. It's been an absolute blast. I'll be on tomorrow night on my channel, simulcast on Purple Code with Mike Castellino and Kyla. We'll be breaking this all down. Dave and I will be on our channels on Tuesday. Dave works his magic behind the scenes. He'll get a guest on for us, or we'll just go with another session in here. So please tune in. Dave, what else do you got? I'm assuming you got your Wednesday stuff with G&G as well.
I won't plug my Monday show because I got a guest coming on School World Live. When's your show?
My show is 6:30. So G&G is at 6. I'm at 6:30.
6:30 what? Central time?
Central time, yep.
You'll already be on, so you're already be on when I start airing. So
okay, fair
no,
enough.
I was just a pop-up show. I got a guest that's he does a lot of things. I thought I'd bring him on, and it was a good time. But
so
yeah,
if you go to Dave's channel to watch his show, when you're done, flip it over to Purple.
Well, no,
you're
first. You're on first.
Whichever.
I think I'm going on at 7. So
on 7. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
We usually only go till about
7.
We only go to about 7:15 because
I'll go in your chat and tell them to go over to my show.
Yes, when I'm done, I'll send them over to your way.
I appreciate it, man. It won't be that long. I just want to get them on air, have fun. But hey, Tuesday, we got our show, School Live. I also have, with you under the lights at 6:30 Central Time. Wednesday, it is Skull Experience. Yes, I stole that from Joe Rogan. Thursday, I may have another pop-up show, and so I'm hopefully I'm gonna have Luke Braun on sometime this next week, and maybe that's the guy I put on Tuesday, man. I don't know. We'll find out.
Rhino, I'll reach out to you by Wednesday, and if you're still free Thursday, maybe we'll still do something. I know we were planning on doing if they won, but maybe we'll still do it. It kind of depends on how.
Now you showed up. I was trying to get Giant fans on here to talk.
Yeah, I know. All of a sudden, I was about where
all of a sudden
they're all hopping on. They're all hopping on now as we're leaving. But
they fainted. They fainted and they've revived themselves, and now they're out there on YouTube looking for Vikings content.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for showing up, guys. Make sure you hit subscribe because we love. I had a Giants fan on here this week, so.
Hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. Well, thanks again, everybody. We very much appreciate you. Wish we had more games to preview, but alas, it's the Vikings.
Hey, the draft's in April. Let's go.
Hey,
let's go.
Hey, tomorrow's MLK, and we're already talking draft.
All right, let's do it. Skull Vikes. See you next time. Thanks, Rhino.
Good night.